Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, the What If guy, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Dark Issei got Harem. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. 4 months later, Underworld. It has been months since the factions wilt finish Issei after calling him a traitor and murderer of all factions of the supernatural world. While the girls are now Ryu's lovers and in just a few days they are going to have a commitment, so the factions are invited to see all of them with the new hero Issei Hyoudou from the supernatural world. However, the only one who does not plan to go is none other than Serafall Leviathan, who was in her room in the mansion crying through tears. She did not want to attend that engagement with those people who killed the chestnut tree. Above all, she couldn't confess her feelings for him, but it was too late. Issei has died and she will never be able to see him again. Serafall, Issei-chan. Issei-chan, sniff h how I miss you. Do you don't know sniff h how much I miss you? Sniffus, if only they saw that and you are not a traitor. B, but I don't think I will ever be able to tell you what I felt for you. Crying. Serafall was simply in her bed crying uncontrollably because she was still very hurt from not being able to see Issei anymore. But at that moment, the door to her room opened, revealing her younger sister, Sona Citri. Sona, 1-3-7, sniff, looks at her. That it's you, so sniff, leave me alone. I don't want to see anyone, still crying. Sona, but before I leave and you continue crying, listen to what I'm going to say. I know who the murderer of the girls is. Factions of the supernatural world. Serious, Serafall. W. Raises her head with red eyes from crying. And do you know who it is? Tell me, Soten, who it is, or it won't be another of your jokes to make me feel better. Sona. Do you think I make jokes, One-sama? I would be, Serafall. I'm sorry, Soten, but tell me, if it wasn't Issei-chan who was the assassin of the factions, who is it? Sona. Well, we have the person responsible right under our noses. In fact, I sent some spies to monitor a certain person who turns out to be the new hero Issei Hyoudou. Serafall? You mean that clown Ryu? Sona. Yes, when the spy took a photo of Ryu, he discovered something interesting. Sona. And what did you discover? Sona. Ryu is an infiltrator of Rise of Him Lucifer. Sirius shows the hologram that the spy took. Serafall. What's shocked? Time skip. All the factions had gathered in the Underworld castle. Since Serafall had invited them, it was not the first time that the most powerful demon woman had summoned them to this meeting, but there were not only them, the girls including Ryu had been invited as well. When the Citri sisters saw him, they couldn't help but look at him with a lot of hatred, plus the Leviathan Mao, who was responsible for blaming Issei for something he never did, and thanks to him, he ended up dead because of him. It was time to unmask that BSRD once and for all. Serzex. Well, Serafall, we are here. Tell us why you called us to this meeting. Serafall, containing her anger. Well, it's not my first time holding faction meetings, but here it goes. But I can't stand it anymore, and looks at Ryu with too much anger. You are the true traitor of all factions. All the factions are shocked except Ryu and the girls, who did not expect Serafall to scream like that. Sona. Fassilpam, that's why it was better to invite a talking parakeet to talk normally without shouting like that. Rius. That's ridiculous. My Ryu is not capable of being the murderer. Asia. It's true, he is not capable of killing anyone. Azazel. Besides, we already took care of the real traitor and we have killed him. Ryu, you're crazy. I understand why I didn't want to have you as my next lover, for having such a childish attitude. Serafall. He may be childish, but still, it doesn't take away from the fact that you did something so despicable. Displays his demonic aura because he is so angry with Ryu. You. Sona. One-sama, enough, I'll take care of it. As my older sister, Ryu, said, he is the real traitor, especially that he is a Rise of Him infiltrator. Watch. Sona shows the hologram the photo she took of the spy she commanded. They see with surprise Ryu talking to none other than the enemy of the factions, Rise of Him Lucifer, after killing several demons, angels, fallen ones and some yokais. Now that you see a mountain of corpses, because he showed him every proof of what he has done, as long as he didn't have Issei getting in his way when everything ended. The factions and the girls looked at everything with shock except Ryu, who began to laugh maliciously. Ryu, haha, Ha. It looks like they already discovered me. Rias, are you? Say it's not true. That you don't work for Rizavim, shocked. Ryu? And they were so quiet, well, since they discovered me talking to my emissar, I'll tell you, my emissar sent me a mission to get that Issei Hyoudou out of the way, and for that, I used a mind control spell, taking advantage of the fact that I was in a coma after I managed to defeat his beast of the apocalypse. That is why you, looks at his hand, Red Emperor, were manipulated with my magic, thanks to the fact that you did not realize it, and above all, that fool I didn't use your power to kill all those pathetic creatures, but because it was thanks to you being manipulated with my magic. Ddraig, what did you say? Shocked. Ryu? Oh, that's right, you didn't know. I used a spell to control dragons and without you realizing it, and that's why I made it look like your former wielder used your powers to kill those pathetic creatures. You should have seen your face. Bearer, while you did nothing to help him. Ddraig. Unhappy, you are going to pay for what you have done to me. You blame my mate for one thing he never done, and that goes to you traitors. I told you to stop, but you didn't listening to me. Now face the consequences of your stupid decisions. Angry, all the factions, including the girls, began to regret what they did to Issei, all because Ryu used a mind control spell to make them believe that Issei used Ddraig to kill the demons and other supernatural beings, when in reality everything was a spell controls dragons. Rias. Issei, what happened? Crying, Akino, Taisin, crying, Zenobia, Demon, I'll kill you, angry and crying, Irina, darling. What happened? Crying, Kaneko, unhappy. You're going to pay for everything, angry and crying. She activates her Nikomata powers. Gabriel, you will pay for this. Angry and crying, she creates several spears of light. Azazel, you'll see, we will avenge Issei. Angry, Michael, you deserve to be punished. Angry, Ryu, I don't think so. In that, Ryu, having Ddraig in his power, whoever was last tried to resist by not giving him his power. In the end it was in vain, and Ryu invoked the armor and quickly killed all the factions and the others as if they were flies, because at the same time apparently they were no rivals against him, having a red dragon in their power. Ryu, ha ha ha, admit it, you can't handle me anymore. Now that I have the Red Dragon Emperor in my power, I am invincible. In 5 days I will return and I will come with a huge army to start a massacre, so you better be ready. See you. Ryu summons a magic circle and begins to leave, leaving behind the painful factions and girls, accompanied by a feeling of regret. 3 days later, days have passed since they found out the truth. Ryu was the real culprit and traitor of everything. Issei's exam were very depressed that they did not go out at all. They did not sleep, and they also regretted everything they did to him, both, so they cried day and night because they missed him a lot and wanted to see him again to apologize for what they had done to him. The factions went to that same forest where they left Issei to see if she was still alive, but they did not know if she was there. They searched everywhere waiting for a sign of life from the chestnut tree, but without success, who were in doubt if Issei was alive or not, because they felt that they needed it and now they had to be prepared for what was coming in 2 days. 2 days later, there in the Underworld, a war was happening. Ryu came face to face with the Gremory clan and company with an arrogant look. Ryu, hello my loves, with a smile. Rias, you're going to go through everything you did to our Issei's. Annoyed, Ryu, what did I do? Haha, rather, you were the ones who hurt him, so be sorry for what you did to him. This was a blow to the girls, who were responsible for Issei getting hurt. Rias, Issei, crying, Akino, wherever you are, forgive us, crying, Asia. Issei-san, you don't need it, crying, Ryu, better enough of the corny talk, it's time to fight. He starts attacking her. Elsewhere in the middle of the battle, there were Serafall and Azazel, who managed to kill most of Ryu's army, but they were exhausted from fighting that army so much. Azazel, Ding, we won't be able to win. Now that Ryu has Ddraig, we'll be in serious trouble. Serafall, if only Issei was here, we would have won by now. Sad. Azazel, we miss him, wherever he is, we miss him. Sad. But behind them. Huh, do you really miss me? There is no doubt that they are brainless, useless people without knowing what they did to me. When Azazel and Serafall see a strange black smoke, they do not let their guard down, since they thought that more demons were coming from the Chaos Brigade. Azazel, more coming. In fighting pose, That said, Smoke begins to take the shape of a strange human with black hair, who begins to look at the two traitors seriously. Fence, look who we have here, it's the Siscon and the Crow Surzex. Who are you? In fighting pose? Don't you know who I am? Changes appearance. I am that person who was left on the verge of death in the forest, remember? They both recognize that person, they never expected to see him again. Surzex, Issei. In shock, trying me and Ryu? Seriously, Surzex and Azazel are shocked to see that person who they swore had banished. Yet that person had made his return with the only purpose he has come to fulfill, and that is, revenge. Surzex, Issei iris you. In shock. But suddenly Issei shoots a dark beam from his finger, making a wound on the red-haired demon's right cheek. Even so, the former brunette was not happy with how he spoke to him. Issei, don't talk to me with so much stupid shit. Where is Ryu? Serious, Azazel, he's over there, points his finger, on the battlefield that we seem to be losing. Surzex, Issei, please save my sister and the girls, they miss you. Issei, I don't give a damn in what happens to those beaches, I only came to fulfill my revenge, I don't care about those beaches in the slightest. Annoying, Issei simply flies off in search of Ryu. Both leaders see which Issei left. Surzex, you still hate us, right? Sad, Azazel. Yes, but even after I finish off Ryu and his army, we will make him return to being the pillar of the alliance again. With the girls, they were on the ground totally hurt by how Ryu easily finished them off. From there, Ryu takes the neck of an agonized Rias and prepares his dragon shot, ready to give her his final blow. Ryu, last word speech. Rias, Issei. Forgive me, dying and crying. The others were also crying for losing their beloved after believing in the black-haired man's lies. Ryu, tired of this corniness, decides to put an end to this. Just when he was about to kill the redhead, a kick hit him in the face, causing him to fly and crash into a rock that was far away. Rias, who was there, saw who had saved her, who was a boy with black hair and a totally cold and unfriendly look. That was Issei, who looked back at the redhead just to tell her. Issei, better get out if you don't want to die. Serious and with a very cold voice, Rias, somewhat scared, stands up as much as she can, just like her exigem, to leave the place. Issei sees that the rock where he sent Ryu flying explodes, revealing the latter who activated the balance breaker since he is surrounded by the dragon armor, but Ryu was still not happy who had attacked him by surprise. Ryu, scam, who the hell are you to interrupt my moment of glory? I swear you will not get away with this. Furious, Issei, ha 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 ha, oh my dear Ryu, don't you know who I am? I'll give you a clue, I'm that person who had been labeled a traitor thanks to a fake video that you made. Serious, Ryu? Fake video? Traitor? Wait a minute, are you? Issei, yes, transforms to his original self. I am that person that you took away everything he had. Issei's XHRM, ISSEI. Shocked and with tears in my eyes, Serafall, really that's you. Shedding tears of joy, Issei, yes Serem, looks at her. I'm the same, serious and with a smile. The most powerful Mao in the underworld could not help but cry with happiness at seeing her lover in secret again, but still part of her feels guilty for having participated in Issei's betrayal, without her knowing that the ex-chestnut he already realized Ryu. Ha 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 ha, oh it can't be, you again, and I see that you're still alive, but it doesn't matter. Because I'll kill you myself, thanks to the fact that I have the power of the red dragon, I'm invincible, with an arrogant smile. Issei, do you think my friend made you invincible? Please, do you know that my partner only accepts a true wielder who is capable of using it, and that is me, being in his dark form. At that Ryu's hand shines. From there he hears the voice of his red dragon companion, who was happy to see his former bearer alive. Ddraig, comrade, it's a joy that you're alive. Quickly, put an end to this unfortunate man, since he was responsible for controlling me so that you would use my power to kill innocent people, and thanks to that, they blamed you for something you didn't do. Ryu, you shut your mouth, you underdeveloped lizard. Ddraig, buddy, get me out of this disgrace. Issei, don't worry Ddraig, in a few moments I'll get you out of that unfortunate man when I'm done with him. Rias, without thinking, rushes towards Issei to hug him, but when she was about to hold him in her arms. All of Issei's girls and ex-lovers were very shocked by what they saw, what they had seen. They did not believe it. Issei had slapped the gremmery hard until he knocked her to the ground, while on her cheek she has the mark of her hand. Rias touches that area where the ex-chestnut hit her. Rias, ice. Crying, Issei, is this a joke, Rias? Do you think I would welcome you with open arms after you and those beaches made me? You're stupid if you think I'll let you hug me. I'm not going to spare the life of a diamond in head like you. You are pathetic and you are very despicable, gremmery. Very angry, Rias simply the only thing she did was cry. Apparently her Issei now hated her a lot. The others also felt that their hearts were breaking because of how the black-haired man had insulted them. Ryu, well, enough of this nonsense. I think I'm going to kill you now, my army. Finish that demon. All the demons of the Chaos Brigade launch themselves to attack Issei, but the black-haired man only looks at them with a totally serious look that only says, Issei, don't bother, you scumbags. Out of nowhere Issei creates some clones of himself. The only characteristic of those clones is that they did not have mouths. Without thinking, the clones approach Ryu's enormous army, who themselves finish them off without any difficulty, since the clones killed the demons in horrible ways, such as burning them alive, tearing off parts of their bodies with their hands, beating them to the point of exhaustion, and each one ended up with a disfigured face, and of course the clones killed each one. Demon of the Chaos Brigade with pure brute force, like kicking them so hard until breaking them in half and also completely destroying their heads with one blow. Once Ryu's entire army had just been defeated and brutally killed, many visors and demon brains were scattered everywhere. Issei's clones had no mercy against them, so much so that Issei's ex-lovers, disgusted and at the same time terrified by what they had just seen, they saw that that good-hearted brunette, even that perverted lover of Biz, was now someone bloodthirsty and would not show mercy to anyone. Leaders even with the same, Issei disappears his clones and comes face to face with Ryu, ready to exact his revenge. Issei, well, since you no longer have anyone to help you, it's just you and me. Ryu, PFFF, it was just luck, but with me it's going to be different because I'll kill you, I can assure you. 10 power increases ago, Issei, okay, but I warn you that begins to be surrounded by a dark purple aura. What you are going to experience, believe me, you are going to enjoy it as soon as it shatters you. With an evil smile, Ryu had a bad feeling about that, but decided to ignore it and attacked Issei. The former chestnut did the same to start the battle. But with Issei's ex-lovers, they were just there, trusting that their lover will beat Ryu. But with the leader of the yokais, Yasaka, he was doubtful, because when he saw that power of cloning that Issei did, it seemed very familiar, as if there was already it. Seen Yasaka, thinking that cloning power, I feel like I've seen it. No. Don't tell me what I think it is, only I know a single person who has the ability to clone himself, including those other powers that Issei has. Are those powers? That's what Yasaka said in her thoughts, not knowing that later when the fight is over, she will be surprised to discover who is the cause of Issei having those new dark powers. The fight between Issei and Ryu began. They both launched themselves at each other at the same time and then strongly collided their fists, generating a large current of air that made the field shake. Ryu tries to hit Issei, which he dodges. He tries again, but again the black-haired man evades without any problem. Ryu makes 5 power increases to increase his speed and thus launch his blows faster, forcing Issei to dodge his blows. Quickly Issei reads his movements because he knew that Ryu only attacked incessantly, to then dodge a charged blow from the black-haired man. Issei dodges and then manages to hit him with a blow in his stomach, and then makes him retreat. Ryu does 20 power increases as best he can and then launches himself against the former chestnut with a charged blow. Issei simply covers himself with his arms and is taken to fly backwards while he had his arms covered. Ryu approaches at full speed to try to hit him with a dragon shoot. Close up, Ryu, dragon shoots. He fires his dragon power ray at the former chestnut, who receives it, and an explosion is created accompanied by a screen of smoke. Ryu of course thought that with that he killed Issei. Ryu, hee, maybe he survives with that, with an arrogant smile, and that attack is very weak. Ryu, what? Ryu looked back only to be received by a kick to the face that sent him flying and crashing into the ground. The one who had attacked him was Issei, since in the last few seconds he had dodged that dragon shot without problems. Issei, what a slow attack, you need the time necessary to charge that energy, that's why I moved quickly before that attack hit me. Ryu in all that dust stands up while seeing how his armor was a little cracked, implying that that kick that Issei gave him was strong, but even so, he was not going to stay with his arms crossed. Ryu, scoundrel, you'll see, I'll give you back that kick you gave me. Angry, Ryu further increases his power enough to intimidate anyone except Issei, just to hear what he says. Ryu, promotion queen. He said and then saw how his armor changed, wearing red wings, and his power was so great that it intimidated the gods themselves. Ryu. Hee, with this I will tear you to pieces, he says, and then throws himself towards the former brunette. Issei was simply there without doing anything until he then says Issei, cloning as he says that. Suddenly some clones of Issei appear, and in total there were 5 of them, but the only difference between these clones is that he did not have a mouth on his face. The 5 clones of Issei launched themselves against Ryu, who cannot believe what he was seeing. But he only ends up receiving a blow from a clone of Issei. Ryu rejoins, but another clone attacks him from behind until he is sent into the air. Then another clone arrives and gives him a strong hammer blow to knock him out. Sending him to the ground, Ryu does what he can. He gets back up doing a turn and falls on his feet, but at the same time he makes a gigantic hole. He looks up at the clones with anger and fires his next attack. Ryu makes cannons appear on his back, dragon blasters. He fires his dragon blaster at Issei's clones. However, the 5 clones counterattack with his attack. Issei clones, dark pulse. The 5 clones fire their dark attack against Ryu's dragon blaster. They collide and create an explosion, generating smoke. Ryu could not see through the smoke, but suddenly hands appear from under the ground and hold his feet until something comes out. To surprise him, Ryu, but where? Issei comes out of the ground. Surprise, mother effie. Hits him. Issei sends Ryu flying with a strong blow about 10 meters away. Then the 5 clones arrive to give him what he deserves, and then they begin to give him a round of punches and kicks. They treated Ryu as if he were their toy. Ryu tried to defend himself from the clones, but the 5 issues did not allow it. They did not allow him to go anywhere. Ryu receives a blow that sends him into the air, a kick that sends him to the ground. Right, another kick that sends him to the ground, a tackle that sends him airborne again, and then receives a powerful axe kick to the entire head that sends him to the ground and he crashes downwards. Then Issei's clones disappear, leaving only the real one, who lands in the crater where Ryu was buried with a serious face. Meanwhile, with the traitors, the leaders of the factions Serafall and Azazel had arrived with Issei's ex-lovers. What happens, and they see it, is Ryu lying on the ground while Issei was standing there looking at the crater where the aforementioned Serafall. Girls, any news? Gabriel, all right Serafall-sama, Issei is beating that BSRD. Akino, era, when this is over, I'm already looking forward to having him in a private place where I can make him mine. With a flirtatious look, the others except Issei and Serafall thought the same. Even if Issei hates them, they will do everything possible to earn his forgiveness and have him back. The redhead still hasn't forgotten the slap that the former brunette gave her, but still, that would never stop him. She wanted to have the protagonist no matter what, even if he hated her. Rias thought, my Issei, even though you paid me with that slap, you are going to return with me and the others whether you want it or not, to show how sorry we all are. But in the case of Serafall, she had planned to tell the former brunette her hidden feelings, but she was afraid of being rejected. She didn't know what to say and admit her feelings, but that doesn't matter. She's going to tell him how much she loves him, yes. Or yes, Serafall, thinking, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. When this is over, I will tell Issei-kun how much I love him. Yes, I know that he will return my feelings no matter what, she thought with determination and with a slightly blushing. Returning to the fight, Ryu stood up from the ground very weak from the beating that the clones gave him, but he looked at Issei with hatred, since he could not believe that he was being humiliated by the battle. Issei, what happened? Where was that arrogance you had before? With a mocking smile, Ryu, Didimin. Why you haven't defeated me yet? Because I swear I will kill you right here. Ryu releases his dragon energy that shakes the entire underworld. The factions and Issei's XM feared the worst. When that tremor ends, Ryu shows them the most powerful form of which they terrify everyone. Even the goddess of infinity herself, Ophis, that form was none other than the Diabolos dragon Ryu. Ha, how about my new power? With this I will send you to the other world. With an arrogant smile, Issei sin embargo just says Issei, and, without caring about anything, Ryu's arrogant smile disappears when he hears Issei's tone of voice, and he doesn't look scared at all. Aren't you scared? Gets angry, you're supposed to shake in fear. You don't know that with this power I will disappear you in a heart, you don't have a chance. Issei, yes, the truth is I don't care if you tell me your antics, but if you just saw what it means to have power, I'll give you a demonstration. Play this music. When he says that, Issei is surrounded by an immense amount of dark aura, while his body is covered by a kind of black and red mass, and purple rays appear around the aura where the former chestnut was. Ryu did not understand what was happening. He simply saw this with disbelief. The factions and the girls saw this surprised. They saw that Issei was actually hiding his true power, and not only did he use everything Asia. What is that? Surprised, Irina. I don't know, but what power? Surprised, Rosweiss. Is that Issei's true power? Awesome, Azazel. Interesting, I didn't know that power was special. Thinking, although maybe I should investigate more about that power and find some weakness in our favor. However, there was a person who looked at this, not with surprise, but with a look full of terror. It was the leader of the yokais, Yasaka, who could be seen as she began to tremble with fear. Her eyes were completely terrified as she showed a face blue with fear. Yasaka feared the worst when that power was then made known. To him, Yasaka, thinking, and it can't be. That power. That or. And it can't be, then that power is. When then the entire underworld became clear, seeing Issei again coming out through that dark aura, but now with a new appearance. His hair now turned a blue tone and its tips were light blue, his eyes turned purple. And his skin was now a shade of white with blue edges. Suddenly Issei looked at Ryu with the face of a psychopath, while he began to laugh in a way that a sick person would do. Issei, Ryu, what are you laughing at, idiots? Angry, Issei, stops laughing and looks at Ryu with a gloomy look. My dear Ryu, you are dead. Ryu just makes a shocked face because he feared the worst. Yasaka, on the other hand, sees Issei with a new appearance, and apparently her doubts had been true. Yasaka, thinking, I am possible. That's the power of Mephiles the Dark. He thought with a shocked face. Ryu, ignoring the sadistic smile of the ex-chestnut, rushes at him at high speed to give him a powerful blow. Issei is just waiting for him to attack him. When Ryu is close to Issei, he launches a powerful blow enough to kill a man. High-class demon easily, but suddenly he gets a huge surprise as his blow was stopped with a single hand from Issei. And the worst thing, the blow he was going to give him would be strong enough to be able to kill him, since in fact he only managed to move him 1 meter back. Issei didn't even make an effort, since he only stopped his fist with one hand. Ryu, W. Impacted, Issei. Pathetic. Issei delivers a strong blow to Ryu's stomach, enough to break his armor a little. Ryu only grabs the area where the blow went and takes a few steps back. So Issei is not far behind and runs towards Ryu to start fighting. He hits him in the jaw that sends him into the air. Issei chases him through the air. Once he is close to him, he hits him twice in the jaw. Face, then he gets on his back and gives him a double stab with his knees that sends him into the air. Ryu, with everything he can, rejoins being in the air and increases his power about 100 times, enough to equal the marking. He turns and throws himself at Issei with enormous fury on his face. Issei is not far behind and throws himself against Ryu, and then see how both of their attacks hit each other through the air. Ryu flies towards Issei at high speed to hit him in the stomach, but Issei resists that while being sent flying about 10 meters backwards. Issei breaks and sees Ryu approaching him. The former chestnut, he creates 2 dark spheres and then shoots at Ryu, who himself stops and then deflects them, but it was a trap since Issei appears in front of him and gives him a powerful kick in the jaw, a blow in the stomach. then creates 10 clones of himself to send him downwards with a blow at full speed, and then they crash to the ground, creating a cloud of dust. In the cloud of dust, Issei comes out without his clones since they disappeared after sending Ryu to the ground. He comes out of that cloud of dust flying only to see that Ryu was standing preparing his next attack. He charges a large amount of dragon energy, enough like to kill the mouse. Even with the goddess Ophis herself, Ryu sees Issei with fury since he was being humiliated by him, and he was not going to allow him to humiliate him in that way. Hence he warns him, if he survives the attack, what is he going to give you? Ryu, if you survive this attack with all my power, prepare to die. Issei, without a hint of fear, looks at Ryu with a mocking smile, seeing what he is capable of. Issei, well, what are you waiting for? Launch that best attack, see if you are able to do it. In a mocking way, Ryu, I will erase that smile from your face when I finish you. Goodbye to this world. Fires his attack. Ryu fired his attack. That huge beam was heading towards Issei, who did not even dare to move. The traitors were scared that Issei would be hit with that attack. Surzex, it can't be. Dodge it. Issei. Rias, Issei, please don't die. Serafall, be careful. Very worried, Issei, on the other hand, was about to hit him with a big attack, but suddenly he just says, Issei, although that won't make me a single scratch. When he says that, the former brunette only extends his hand forward and Ryu's great attack hits, but something happens. That attack was easily contained at the same time that said attack began to disappear, leaving the black-haired man shocked. Ryu eats. Very shocked, Issei, hee, what a pathetic attack. I expected more from you, plus my dark powers can suppress any type of attack, and be it an attack from a celestial dragon. Ryu, no. It's impossible. Steps back, Issei, well, now that you're done, it's my turn. Suddenly Ryu felt a strong pain in his stomach that made him spit out a lot of blood. It was Issei who had appeared before him with a fist in his stomach that made him gasp for air. Ryu only grabbed his stomach tightly, but it didn't end there. Issei approached him and then hit him with a rain blow that not even the black-haired man could defend himself. He received a harsh massacre. When Ryu sent him to be thrown on the floor, suddenly he saw 5 clones of Issei with their dark spheres about to shoot Ryu. Oh. Tremendous son of a. It is quiet when Issei's clones fire their dark spheres and hit Ryu, where an explosion is created and Ryu is seen in the air all crushed. Ryu and Los Ares, Issei disappears his clones again and then gives him a blow that sends him higher into the air, and another to send him to the sky. When Ryu is in the air, Issei appears in front of him in the air and then hits him repeatedly to the face as many times as necessary, as a sign of his contempt and a sign that this is his punishment for having ruined his life and having taken away everything he loved. When they then both fall to the ground, once again creating another curtain of dust, since Issei, being on top of Ryu, crashed heavily into the ground. Stop the music there, then the cloud of dust was disappearing little by little, showing the result of the fight. Issei was standing there looking at Ryu, who was on the floor badly injured, and of course his power of the Diabolos dragon had disappeared since his armor disappeared. Issei, I see that was all. From what I see you can't move anymore. Serious, Ryu? Didi. Chow. Is it possible that I was defeated, before someone like you, dying? Issei, believe me or not, it was thanks to the help of a single person that I was banished from the kingdom of that stupid 10-tailed fox, and thanks to him, he gave me these powers with which I would use it to take revenge on you. Ryu, I am happy. Issei, well, now that you're there on the ground, I want to do something that I'm going to have fun with an evil smile. Ryu, what are you going to do? Scared, Issei, dark look, I will break you in 2 again. Issei creates 2 clones of himself and then both clones take the arms of a badly injured Ryu and then begin to stretch him as if he were an elastic toy. Issei, see you never. You ruin lives, snaps his fingers. So the 2 clones do their thing and stretch Ryu so hard that suddenly he begins to hear some bones crunching. Play this video until minute 0:28. When the clones cut the black-haired man in half, Ryu had died in a gruesome way. The factions were shocked by what they saw. Issei's Exium vomited in disgust at seeing that horrible scene. Ryu dies out of nowhere. A green gem comes out who was none other than Ddraig floating through the air. Issei takes it with his hand and then they start talking. Issei, Ddraig, it's a joy to have you back again. Ddraig, and I'm also glad to see you alive again, but what you did was incredible. Where did you get those powers from? Issei, easy, with the help of a person who saved me from death. I will still tell you more details later. Ddraig, well, I think it's time to enter your body. Issei, actually Ddraig, before you do it, I have something to tell you. There is no point in hiding the truth from me. Thank you. With these powers I can now read the hearts and minds of people. For example, you hide a secret from me that you never told me about for a long time when we met. Isn't that right, Dragon? Or rather, Dragon? Ddraig is shocked by what his partner said. Ddraig, how did you know? He says, but now with a woman's voice. Issei, easy, when we spend more time together, I have noticed that you are closer to me. Even on most occasions, your voice began to sound different. Even when you begged those traitors, your voice always changed, until I reached the conclusion that you were not a male dragon, but something else. Ddraig is surprised before the revelation of the former black-haired man. She never expected her secret to be revealed. Ddraig, I see that there is no point in hiding the truth from you anymore. Issei, no, not anymore. And tell me, do you have a real name? Ddraig, well, my real name is Urza, and the truth is I never expected that now you would know my secret for so long. Issei, what can I say? After all, I'm a great detective. Urza, okay mate. Issei, well, what are you waiting for? Come in, the way is clear for you to enter. Urza, thanks friend. Urza without thinking enters the body of the black-haired man. Finally Issei had his partner, or rather dragon companion, back. Urza, okay mate, what's next? Issei, for now we will have new plans for later, and the truth is I have a lot to tell you when we get to my secret place, but this is interrupted along the way when the traitors arrive, including Issei's exe. Rias, Issei, please don't go. Akino, don't leave us alone again. Issei of course only pushes them all with a current of dark energy towards the leaders. For the former brunette it was the last straw because he still has not forgotten what they did to him. Issei, you all, don't even believe that I came here to help you against these pathetic demons. I only came here for my revenge, not for you. So don't come to me with excuses to not abandon you, because that's what I'm going to do. And as you laugh, I see that the slack I gave you was not. You have learned your lesson. I'm just going to wait for someone and leave here and never come back. I think you're talking about me, right Issei? A voice was heard from nowhere, as a curtain of dark shadow appeared in front of them when it began to take the shape of that black yokai with dull green stripes, appearing in front of everyone. Mephiles, you did a good job Issei. I think you already feel satisfied with that, right? Issei, yes, I already fulfilled my revenge. I think it's time to go. Urza, hey mate, who is that? Azazel, hey, who is that yokai? Surzex, I don't know, nor do I know him. The yokai leader and Mephiles look at each other face to face. In fact, they have known each other for a long time. Mephiles, hello, Yasaka, do you remember me? Yasaka, Mephiles, so you were the one who inherited those powers from Issei, right? I would be Asia. Yasaka, do you know that yokai? Yasaka, answer my question. Mephiles, that's right, thanks to the black onyx emerald Issei has become invincible, all thanks to you turning your back on him. I felt identified when you banished me from your territory. That's why I gave Issei the opportunity to take revenge. To that person who ruined his life, even so I am indebted to him. Yasaka. But still, the reason why I banished you is because you were a destroyer. You destroyed my territory at your wish. And you inherited a power which corrupted my future husband's mind. Annoyed, Mephiles, future husband. Please don't make me laugh, believe it or not. You turned your back on him, so these powers give Issei strength. The black onyx emerald is not corrupting him. I simply saved him because he was injured, don't you know? Yasaka had nothing to say, but she still thinks that those new powers Issei had corrupted mindlessly. Yasaka, still, you are responsible for everything and you deserve to be punished. Zenobia, you're going to pay for having made Issei hate us. Takes out his Durandal to attack Mephiles. Yasaka, wait. Zenobia. Mephiles, without any fear, just changed his dark form, and then stopped the attack of Zenobia's Durandal with one hand. Mephiles, don't even trust yourself. Girl Mephiles creates a dark sphere and then gives it to Zenobia, who flies away. The other leaders, seeing this, get into position, just like Issei's Hyoudou. Odin, you won't get away with this. Irina, you're going to pay for what you did to my friend. Activates his angel mode, Rias. Issei deserves to come back with us as it should be. With aura of destruction, Issei, oh, these guys don't learn, right? Mephiles, let's end these idiots. Mephiles, you don't have to ask me, I'll help you. In that Serafall also sides with Issei and Mephiles. Serafall, you guys stop, I won't allow it. Serious, Serzex, step aside. Serafall, you can't force me, since Issei-kun is important to me. Issei, Sarachan, I understand that you are worried about me, but you can be safe here, since Mephiles and I can handle all of them. Serafall, no, I'm not going to leave. In fact, I've wanted to tell you for a long time. I love you. Blushing, Issei, W. Surprised and blushing, Mephiles, what the F-? I didn't expect that. Issei, really, do you love me? Without Issei waiting, Serafall takes him by his cheeks to plant a kiss on his lips, and then separates for a few seconds. Serafall, that answers your question. With a smile and blushing, Issei, Sarachan, I don't know what to say, but such an action has caused Issei's ex-lovers to shed some of their aura of terror. Rias, oh no, you're not going to steal our Issei, he's ours. With aura of destruction, Akino, he's our boyfriend and we won't let you steal him. Expels rays from his body. Kuroka, we are not going to allow Isinaya to be with anyone else besides us. Bothers. Zeus, I'm sorry Serafall, but Issei will return to the alliance with us whether he likes it or not. But suddenly the Citri clan joins with the others. Sona, if you want that, first you will have to go through my pieces and Issei is my friend, therefore I will no longer allow you to be with undesirable people like you. Issei, Sona yo. Tsubaki, say, I know we were also part of your betrayal, but they forced us, we swear it. Momo, we prove to you that we are not lying to you in that Mephiles reads the hearts of the Citri clan and indeed, Sona and her pieces did not betray Issei either but were forced to do so. Mephiles, they are right, I see that they were forced to betray you. Issei, you're right, I see it too, so I trust them. Azazel, what is this? Why are you betraying us? Serafall, huh? Look who's saying it, you don't have the right to say that we're betraying them, stupid crow. Sona is surprised at how her older sister gave her that nickname, which makes Azazel upset. Sona, okay, this is the first time I see one Isama throwing an insult. Serzex, okay, that's enough, we didn't want to come to this, but they leave us no choice, let's attack thus. The leaders and Issei's XM launch themselves against them with the intention of ending Mephiles and forcing Issei to return to being the alliance, even being the lover of the Grimoire and the others again. Issei, I see they want a beating, what do they say? Will you help me? Sona, we will help you, give you equipment. Thus the new fight begins, only that this happens in a divided way. Mephiles and Serafall fight Serzex, Azazel, Odin, Zeus, Yasaka, while Issei and the Citri clan fight against the Grimoire and Issei's other ex-lovers with the intention of having their boyfriend back, even if it is by using force. 3 hours later, when 3 hours passed, the leaders and Issei's XM were on the ground completely defeated and with a body full of large wounds. Issei, I see that everything is over, we won, and I didn't even use my partner to defeat all of you. Mephiles, huh? You were no match for me. Yasaka, despite being the leader, I still surpassed you by a lot even though I have my power divided when I inherited that from Issei, he says while seeing Yasaka on the ground very hurt. Rias, how is it possible that they defeated us? Dying while Sona was in front of him. Sona, you don't know, even if you don't believe it. Rias Grimoire, I surpassed you, while you were wasting your time with that idiot who ruined Issei-kun's life. I took the opportunity to strengthen myself, thanks to that, I was able to defeat you too easily. I see that I no longer you're the high-class demon I met, right? Issei, well, I think there's nothing else to do here, let's go. Looks at Serafall and the Citri clan. Serafall, Sona and the others, do you want to come with Mephiles and me? Ruruko, sure, as long as I'm not close to them anymore. Saji, of course I'll go, you're still a great friend to me. Sona, I agree, it is better to go with you than to be with those traitors who did not support you at all. Issei, Sarah-chan, about the kiss and your declaration of love for me, I'm going to think about it when we get to the place where we are living, apart from the fact that it's not Mephiles and since I want to introduce you to other people than you and him. Citri clan know that you are like big brothers to me, Serafall. Okay, I'll give you time to think about that declaration of love. Don't worry, as such, I'll give up the alliance with the leaders just so that I can be with you. With a small smile, Issei just smiles at what was said. That's where Mephiles says Mephiles. Okay, let's all go, we have to go. Serafall. Okay, but first I want to say something else. Looks at the factions who were injured. Ahem, cheap factions, from now on I, Serafall Leviathan, will cut off alliance with you. I will not be around some airheads who they betrayed my Issei-kun, so don't look for me and don't convince me to return to the alliance, because I won't do it even if you bribe and intimidate me, because I don't want to be close to them. Traitors as disgusting as you, did you hear correctly? Very serious, Mephiles, good decision girl, well it's time to go. Rias, and no. On your knees, no, Issei, don't go away in pain, but it was too late. Mephiles covered the characters with black smoke and then watched it disappear until he saw that Issei and the others were gone. Issei's exegem only cried to see that their beloved was gone, while the leaders stood up after using phoenix tears to heal their wounds, after the beating that Serafall gave them along with the black yokai Mephiles. Surzex, DMN, they're already gone. Yasaka, it would be best to get everyone together, there is something important I must tell you about Mephiles. Azazel, okay, but first, let's heal everyone with the phoenix tears, then we will go to the meeting room, we will meet there thus. All the leaders retreat into their magic circles, but not before curing the girls of their wounds. But even so, they were not going to give up. Since they would do everything possible to have Issei back even if he didn't want to, they would never give up. Defeated until they achieve their only goal with Issei and company after having ended Ryu with his life to fulfill his revenge and of course confronting the factions and his ex-lovers that they would never return to them even if by force, they still would not give up until they had Issei back. For her part, Serafall decided to cut the alliance with the factions since she would never be next to some traitors who believed in a pretty face like Ryu. For her part, Sona and the Citri clan also cut the alliance, since they were forced to betray to the protagonist only to force the female pieces of the Citri to be with Ryu, which was of no use. Returning to the main topic, Issei and the others had arrived at the same rainforest where the former chestnut tree was found by Mephiles, where Issei tells them where his base is. Issei, well everyone listen, our secret place is on the other side of that waterfall you see there, he says pointing his finger at a waterfall. Serafall, like Issei-kun. Is that waterfall where they live? Issei, hee, not literally Sarah-chan, you don't know what's on the other side of that waterfall, Sona. I'm confused, what's the other side of being married? Mephiles, when you see it you will be surprised. Well let's continue. Issei and Mephiles enter the waterfall so Serafall and the Citri clan, without wasting time, do the same and enter the other side of the waterfall only to see that the whole place was very dark. Saji, hey, I don't see anything, it's very dark. Urza, partner, do you know why we are inside the waterfall? Issei, wait, we haven't activated the big elevator that they're stopping right now yet. Serafall/Clan Citri, a sensor. Urza, elevator. When the Leviathan suddenly comes together with the others, they feel like the floor was moving when at that time they feel that it was descending towards the ground. From there they see that everything begins to clear up and they end up realizing that they were on a floor where it served as an elevator that leads to the underground. A few seconds later, the floor stops and you could already see everything. Issei says the following. Issei, well, we've already arrived at our secret base, what do you think? Showing what a secret base looks like, Serafall/Clan Citri. Woo, impressionados? Urza, wow, this place is big and it's incredible, impressed. They saw with surprised eyes how Issei's secret base together with Mephiles was quite large and had everything, some stairs, some rooms and a huge computer screen. Saji, seriously wow, hey man, don't you think it's a bit similar to Batman's Batcave? Issei, that's because, appears behind Saji, I'm Batman. Saji, get scared, oh don't scare me like that. Annoyed as his hand starts to glow, Vitra, haha, I see that Issei made you sheet out of fear partner, in a mocking way, said, "Shut up." Mephiles, "Well, let's stop joking, this place is where Issei and the others live." Sona, "Excuse me, the others? Wasn't it you and Issei-kun?" With doubt, Issei, "Sona, I already told Sarah-chan, there are other people that I want them to meet, and believe me, they are like my new brothers Tsubasa." New brothers? Issei, "I'll show you, come downstairs and I'll introduce you." The others follow Issei and Mephiles up the stairs. When they reach the first floor, the former brunette shouts Issei, "Hey guys, we're back, please come out for a moment." At that the doors of the rooms came out of there a few people who saw that Issei and Mephiles had returned. "Hey everyone, Issei is back," says a man with a huge mustache, red plumber's clothes with a letter M on his hat. 2. "Tell us, Issei, how did it go with that BSRD who ruined your life?" Says a black-haired boy, "Issei, well obviously I managed to get revenge on him." 3. "That's good, because people like them make me sick and of course my brother and I want to go to that kingdom of filth to put an end to those two scoundrels who ruined our life," says another man with a huge mustache, green plumber with a letter I on his hat. "That's right, I think the same, Mario and Luigi. Mario and Luigi are currently known as the famous heroes of a kingdom called Mushroom Kingdom or Mushroom Kingdom, whatever you want to call it. Who was in charge of that kingdom was an appealing princess called Peach whom Mario ended up falling in love with. At the same time, Luigi had another princess named Daisy, and they protected the kingdom from the clutches of the evil Koopa King Bowser. Basically, everything was happy for both, but it all went down when two people arrive in the kingdom, which was a rather handsome prince named Haru and his plumber partner, Pablo, who had the same skills as the twin plumbers, to the point that they end up taking the attention of both of them. Princesses and the others of the Mushroom Kingdom, completely forgetting about the two heroes, and Peach took the idea of banishing Mario and Luigi and replacing them with Haru and Pablo to the point that their ex-girlfriends will end their relationship with both, destroying them and at the same time angering them, swearing to that kingdom that they were going to return to take revenge on them. Shortly after, both were found by Bowser, who offers them to work on his team in exchange for helping them take revenge on the Mushroom Kingdom. Obviously, the two brothers had no choice but to accept before being found by Issei and Mephiles. Issei, "Don't worry, Mario and Luigi, you'll have to wait until they get the powers of the Black Onyx Emerald." Then a mysterious being in the form of a dragon arrives to tell him the following: "Issei, who are those people who come with you?" Bowser. 2. "Now that I think about it, I also wanted to ask you the same thing," says a boy with brown hair and green eyes. Becerra still. Becerra Tiju was a hero exiled from the hero village after his father adopted two girls who were Mio and Maria, so that in the end it turns out that Mio is the daughter of the Demon King, where Becerra now had as an intention to protect those he loves. He lived great adventures and formed a loving relationship, just like Issei, since he was the boyfriend of Mio, Maria, and of course new girls like Yuki, Kurumi and of course Chisato, but everything went to hell when a new boy, called Renzo, arrived at the academy. Since then both Mio and the others, except one of them, which was Chisato, did not talk much with him. Becerra, leaving him confused. When some time passed, when Becerra returned home, he ended up being attacked by Mio and the others, saying that they no longer needed a useless person like him, so Mio's father took away both of his powers. Like your powerful and dangerous weapon than Brynhildr, and then gave it to Zen, and then Becerra was the same as Issei, tortured to almost death, but for the intervention of Chisato, who used so much of her magical power to intimidate the Becerra's ex-lovers, took advantage of that distraction to take an injured Becerra as far as they could, until they ended up being found by Mephiles and helped Becerra with his injuries, in exchange for giving him a gift. A power that he would use to take revenge on that person who took everything from him, and Chisato would accompany him. 3. And the truth is, I ask myself the question, those people who come with you, they are trustworthy, said a appealing woman with dark brown hair and glasses. Issei, don't worry, Miss Chisato, these people who come with me are trustworthy, and of course, they are the only people who did not betray me. She is the Mal-Leviathan, Serafall Citri Serafall. Hello, my pleasure, bowing, Issei, and all of them are the Citri clan, made up of Sona, Tsubaki, Momo, Ruruko, Tomo, Rhea, Tsubasa and of course Saji. say hello Citri clan. A pleasure to meet you all, they bow. Issei, oh and by the way, shows his hand, she's in here, she's my partner, Urza. Urza, hello, it's a pleasure to meet you. Well, from what I see, they are trustworthy people, not for nothing are they the only ones who did not participate in your betrayal, Futaro Yusuji. Futaro Yusuji was a student with a normal life after becoming a private teacher, who had to teach a family with the last name Nakano, which was made up of 5 girls or rather quintuplets, whose names are Itsuki, Yatsuba, Nino, Ichika, and Miku. After he became the boyfriend of each of them, everything was calm for the young black-haired man, but unfortunately that peace of mind goes away when a new man arrives. Student, who had the name Juan due to his arrival, the quintuplets fell at his feet, completely forgetting about Futaro, destroying his heart, but that was not the worst, since it was heard that the quintuplets' father he said goodbye to being his daughter's private teacher and replaced him with Juan. This left the black-haired man sad. But each consequence has its limit when he sees that his father and younger sister will replace him with Juan as if he were the new member of the family too. The point that Futaro is kicked out of the house, but the final straw is that news is revealed that a woman was murdered and raped to death, to which they came to the conclusion that Futaro Yusuji was to blame for everything, since a fake video of himself doing that great damage to the girl is shown. After that he was caught by the police and before they locked him up. The quintuplets and their ex-family only looked at him with hatred and wanted him to rot in prison. Once he was in jail. Several months later he escaped from there, swearing revenge on the person who locked him up there. When he was left wandering the streets, just like Shido, this is found by Issei and Mephiles when he is recruited as part of the team. Issei, that's right Futaro, believe it or not, there is one of them who fell in love with me, looking at Serafall who saw how she blushed. However, a person who was in the Citri clan felt jealous. To see how Serafall took the attention of the ex-chestnut Mephiles. Well, changing the subject, has anyone seen Isuku? I don't see it here Mario. Well, he is with his job, creating robots for destruction so that he can fulfill his revenge for how in that place where heroes exist, along with 2 special people with the same intellect as him, he goes against a person who ruined his life Mephiles. I see. Issei, well, now that you are reunited, it's time for you to fulfill your new mission and that is revenge, with an evil smile. When saying that word revenge, the betrayed could not help but put the same evil smile on their lips. To tell the truth, they wanted to go to their places from which they did not want to go, but as long as they wanted to get even with those people who took away from them everything, but we will know that later about these new betrayed after recovering from the injuries that Issei, Mephiles, Serafall and the Citri clan did to everyone after trying to force them to return. More than the ex-chestnuts Exam, they wanted to have him back without letting the former leader of the Underworld. Serafall is what will remain. It was time for the leader of the yokai faction to give her declaration of whom Mephiles the Dark was. Now we see Issei's Exarchum and all the leaders in a meeting. It was time for Yasaka to make her statement. Surzex. Well Yasaka, it's time for you to answer us. Who is this yokai Mephiles really and why was he stronger than us? Serious, Yasaka? You see, Mephiles the Dark is a dark yokai and belongs to the best elite member of the yokai territory of Kyoto. He defended our thanks. He had such great dark powers that he can rival the Maos and even the gods of throughout the supernatural world. Those powers he obtained were thanks to the power of a powerful dark emerald called the Black Onyx Emerald. From there the kitsune shows a hologram of the same great emerald. All the leaders pay attention. Yasaka, as you know it, is the origin of Mephiles the Dark's dark powers. Odin. Seriously, his powers come from that strange black gem. Yasaka, that's right, as you know, Mephiles' dark powers originated from this legendary dark emerald, which even has the ability to transfer his dark powers to other people, in this case, to Issei for example. Maybe his powers were originated from having contact with the Black Onyx Emerald. That is why you saw what skills and attacks Issei did against the BSTRD Ryu, such a point of killing him that he still well. He deserved it Asia. So it means that Issei-san has those strange powers, thanks to that dark emerald. Yasaka, yes, that's why those evil powers are somewhat dangerous. Maybe those powers are corrupting the mind of our future husband. That's why he told them that Mephiles are a danger to Issei. Rias. So what are we waiting for? We still can't give up. Issei is going to return to us. Whatever the case, We are not going to allow that traitor Serafall to take Issei from our side. Very serious. The Exachum agreed with the redhead. They were not going to let Serafall take him away from them. Issei deserved to be with them even if he didn't want to. Azazel, wait, I know how you feel girls, but you don't remember how he managed to hurt us. If we want to get Issei back, we must find some weakness in that dark emerald Yasaka. About that Azazel. The black onyx emerald and Mephiles don't have any weaknesses. This surprises everyone. And now what would they do to have Issei back? Because it was clear that between him and Mephiles, including Serafall and the Citri clan, they would finish them off in a heartbeat, until Yasaka says something else. What will they do to the traitors? Regain hope Yasaka? But it has only one weakness. In fact, there is a very powerful being that can even fight Mephiles himself. Zeus, really? And tell me, what is Yasaka being so powerful about? Yasaka, it is the yokai of the fire disaster and its name is Iblis the Flames Akino, Iblis the Flame. Yasaka. That's right, Iblis, believe it or not, was the only yokai who gave Mephiles the most fight, thanks to the fact that she has a gigantic power of fire and lava that is capable of melting and blowing up an entire city. She is in Kyoto Temple Gabriel. Then let's go after that Iblis girl to convince her to help us. Yasaka. Slow down speedster, believe it or not, she is locked in a seal inside the temple. I know where that place is, so we will go there, Michael. We will go too. It is time for Iblis to help us, Rias. Girls, you know that the traitor Serafall will take our man from us if we don't do something. Do we want that? No, because the truth is I don't want her to be with that beach apart from us. Serious? All the girls start to think about the redhead's opinion, and it was true. Serafall declared her love for Issei, and the worst thing is that he himself reciprocated. They were not going to let the Exmal Leviathan take their man from them. On your side, Zenobia, we don't want that. Serious? Irina. Darling will be with us, whether she wants it or not. Serious? Kuroka, Naya, and we are going to punish him if he misbehaves with us. Naya, lewd face. All the girls thought the same about the black Nikomata. If Issei misbehaved, he wouldn't know what awaited him, since they had many ways to punish him with their body. Sursex, well, let's not waste time and go to the temple in Kyoto. We have an ally from our faction to recover. Michael. Looks that Azazel is not coming. Aren't you coming, Azazel? Azazel? In fact, I'm going to stay here. I plan to find a way to at least match the dark powers of Issei and his friends, and for that, I will start researching a new superpower that is capable of and at least match with their dark power, so we would have assured victory. Rosweiss. That's an excellent idea. Rias, what great news, thinking. Oh, Issei, you will return to us very soon whether you want it or not. If you behave badly, you don't know what awaits you. She thought with a smile, although deep down that smile was something else. So everyone except Azazel retired in their magical circles, heading towards Kyoto, because it was time to free Iblis the Flame. We will see what new surprises these traitors await when they come to attack our betrayed friends. Son Issei, we return to the protagonist, in his hidden base in the waterfalls of the tropical forest. The latter is in his room resting in bed, after having fulfilled his most desired revenge against that idiot who took everything from him. Even so, he was only waiting for what the rest of the betrayed did their part. It is there that Issei was resting after his battle, and he recovered his sacred gear again, which was a woman all the time. While he was still resting, he felt someone knock on his door. Issei, it's me, Issei-kun, can I come in? Issei, Pasa Sarachon. Pasa, the black-haired woman with the two pigtails, enters the room, since the former brunette had called her to tell her something important which we all already know what it is about. Issei, come Sarachon, sit next to me. Serafall, good. The black-haired woman approaches the bed where Issei was and sits next to him. It was time for both to start talking. Urza, I think I'd better pretend I don't hear them. I'll leave them and go rest. She falls asleep. Issei, okay, rest Urza. Serafall, it's incredible that all this time Ddraig was a woman. Issei, I know, and I was beginning to suspect why he changed his voice all the time. They both laugh a little until then the two of them start talking alone. Serafall, okay, back to the topic. I'm here, Isuku, and now, what did you want to talk to me about? Issei, you see, I called you here to talk to you about. Blushes, about the kiss. Serafall, smiles, fires of this kiss that told you. Issei, Weiss, that is why I must speak regarding your declaration of love towards me. Serafall, what's wrong with my declared love? What did I do wrong? Get sad, Issei. No, there's nothing wrong with it. You haven't done anything wrong. The thing is that. Is that? Serafall, it's just that, Issei. Tell me confidently. Say, it's just. Sigh, it's just that I'm afraid, Serafall. Scared. Afraid of what? Confused, Issei. Sigh. Afraid of being rejected by another girl, Serafall. She is surprised. What? Issei, that is, when I am with a woman, in the case of my ex-lovers, they rejected me, they saw me as an object while they saw that BSRD Ryu as a real man. Since that day, since the day when I met the supernatural, Rainier was right that no woman is going to truly love me, knowing that I was only a toy for them. Since then, I stopped believing in women. All women are equal, they play with your feelings, they spend more time with other men until you forget. Basically, I already said this about romance a long time ago. Look at Serafall. You have no idea what it feels like to be rejected by a woman that you gave her heart to only so that in the end they play with you. That's why I'm not sure if I can really love you, Serachan. Serafall herself was with a downcast look, since her fringe of hair covered both of her eyes. She didn't know what to say about what Issei said about how women deceive and play with men's feelings until you feel like an idiot. About having fallen in love with a person who worked so hard that you gave them their heart, only for them to turn their back on you in the end. Serafall, Issei, Syria. Issei looks at Serafall only to later. Issei never expected Serafall herself to slap him like that, until she says the following with some anger. Serafall, you don't have to say that all women are the same. I know there are many who play with your feelings, they see you as their toy and not as a person, but I'm not like them who played with you, betrayed you, turned their backs on you, even behaved like prostitutes by sleeping with an arrogant man who I hope enjoys his suffering further, starts to shed tears. You have no idea how I felt when I no longer had you by your side. I missed you so much. No, I wanted to be with that idiot. That idiot wanted to abuse me, but so Ten defended me. I love you, Issei Hyoudou. I truly love you, with all my heart, and yet you say that all women are equal. That's what you think about me too, so much that I wanted to see you again, cries, and declaring my love. You come with that fear of being rejected in love. You don't know how much you made me, and yet, I tried so much effort to declare you my love, everything for nothing. I seriously feel very sad. Serafall just covered her face while continuing to cry. Issei felt like she ruined it. He doesn't understand why he said that. It was true that all women were equal. But Serafall was different from the others. In fact, she reciprocated the kiss he gave her when she herself declared her love for him. She feels stupid saying that, why she said such a thing. She can even start her life from scratch. No, not only with new brothers who support him, but also, he will have a person who truly loves him with all his heart. Issei just sighs and then hugs the black-haired girl who, despite having her tears exposed, still blushes when she receives that hug from the former brunette while apologizing to her. Issei, sorry Serachan, I didn't mean that. Person, if I offended you with that, you're right, you're not like them. They play with my feelings. You're different from the others. You didn't play with me. You declared yourself to me when I fulfilled my promise. My revenge, you didn't say it just because. You said it as if your feelings really came from the heart. Really? I may also feel in love with you. Smiles. Serafall, Issei, with tears and blushing. Issei breaks away from the hug while wiping her tears. Issei, come on, don't show those tears. You know that would ruin your appealing face. Still, I hope that doesn't offend you, right? Serafall, no, of course not. Wipes tears. Issei, well, regarding what you told me, maybe we have a chance to make this work between us. Or maybe if he formed a new Ichram for me, Serafall. You know that I will not fail you. I will make my heart yours. I promise you. You will see that I will not fail you to reciprocate my feelings. Issei simply grabs the black-haired girl's cheeks and then gives her a warm kiss on the lips, to which Serafall reciprocates the kiss. When about 2 minutes pass, they both separate and then Issei says, Issei, you know you won't, Serachan, you know you won't. Serafall only smiles while she had a sad face, but she was still happy that she can finally be with the person she truly loves. However, Issei only looks at the door of his room and then says the following. Issei, I know there are girls there, hanging out at the door like onlookers. Come out and show your face. Serafall is confused by what was said. But then the door opens revealing the same sister of the Leviathan, Sona Citri along with her queen, Tsubaki, who had come out after knowing that Issei felt the presence of both. Serafall, Soten, were you and Tsubaki spying on us? A little annoying. Sona, of course not, Tsubaki and I were just passing by here and we wanted to see what they were doing. Tsubaki, wait, didn't you say that we were going to see if Issei was alone to reciprocate our feelings towards him? Sona, Tsubaki. Bothers? Tsubaki. Oh, it was unintentional. Say, how did you say? Serafall, are you in love with Issei-kun? Soten, are you too, Tsubaki? Jealous. Sona, yes, what if we are in love with him and what, any problem One-sama? Sarcastic? Serafall, no, I don't have any problem, I just wasn't going to let another girl have my Issei-kun on my side. Turns around, right, Issei-kun. But then the three girls noticed Issei was no longer in the room. Tsubaki, hey, where did he go? Was here a moment ago, Sona. I don't know, but maybe it must have come out while we were busy talking to you, One-sama. Serafall. Yes, of course, I wanted to have Issei for yourselves. Well, I won't allow it, since he is mine and no one else's. Jealous. Sona, your sister. You realize that you just want to monopolize it for yourself. I won't allow that. Jealous. Serafall. Still, Issei-kun is mine and they won't take him away from me. Sona, it won't be yours, it will be mine and you will see that I will conquer it. Serafall, Issei is mine. Sona, it's not mine. Tsubaki, can I give an opinion? Sona/Serafall. Tsubaki, wow, okay, how delicate, thinking. I'm still not going to let Leviathan and Kaicho steal Issei from me. He will be with me, he is mine and the two of them won't take him away from me. Thus the women continued with their old wives' fight to see who would stay with Issei, without knowing that he himself, who had escaped thanks to great speed, decided to leave them and that they would end up with what they did. Issei looks at the fourth wall. Well, in addition to saying that women see you as a toy, sometimes there are also women who are jealous and difficult to control. It's incredible that Sona, even Tsubaki, feel the same way towards me. But I think I'll leave it to him at the time to see if I come to love them like Sarachan. When Issei senses a very familiar presence approaching the base, he already knew who it was. Issei, fence, until they finally arrived. I'll go see from there. Issei heads towards the control room where all the betrayed were gathered. Mario, oh Issei, it's good that you're here, because look who came. Hey Issei, it's a pleasure to be here with my comrades. The good thing is that I'm done with what you asked me to do along with the idea of Mephiles. Issei, excellent, you did a good job. Izuku Midoriya? No, rather, Izuku Evo Robotnik. Serious and with a smile, Issei, excellent, you did a good job. Izuku Midoriya? No, rather Izuku Evo Robotnik. Izuku Midoriya, Evo Robotnik, he was a young man from a hero academy called you. With a dream of becoming the best hero just like his number one idol All Might's when he inherited his quirk called One for All and had several confrontations with the League of Villains and formed a relationship with Ochako Uraraka, a young woman with the zero-gravity quirk. It happens after the War of Heroes against Villains and he loses his mother Inko Midoriya during the war and there were casualties throughout the city of Mustafa and still Izuku despite the depression of losing his only mother he had in mind. His life, he had to move forward with the help of friends and girlfriend who would accompany him until the end, but his life as a hero goes to waste when a new student arrives with the name Tadashi who has a quirk that allows him to create tornadoes and wind currents with his hands, so much so that all the students and the girlfriend from the green-haired boy would distance him, causing the young man's life to go to waste. Plus, everything goes to hell when they give a fake video of Izuku giving all the information to the League of Villains and All for One, making him his idol as well as his ex-girlfriend and friends, would betray him to the point that they would attack him and leave him on the verge of death and All Might would take away the One for All. After that Izuku was expelled from the academy and also locked up in the academy. Tartar, but what they did not know is that Izuku had another gift. In addition to training One for All on several occasions alongside his now former idol, he had also secretly entered robotics with Mei Hatsum along with Melissa Shield. After she lost her father David because of the villains, Izuku was still there for her and thanks to both of them, Izuku developed intellect by building machines and all kinds of robots using metal parts, as you know. He had that gift before they betrayed him thanks to the two of them. And from that moment when Isuku was on the verge of death and locked in Tartar, he was rescued by a person that everyone already knows, and it was none other than Issei with his dark appearance, who did not come alone, since he brought with him 3 people that Isuku already knew who they were. After that, Isuku and those 3 people join Issei, with Mephiles forming an alliance after Issei gave the order to the green-haired boy to create a project that can help him, which the green-haired boy accepted in exchange for the fact that he also wanted to take revenge on that person who ruined his life, which the former brown-haired man I accept without hesitation. Now that everything is clear, Izuku Midoriya, or rather Evo Robotnik, thanks him for his leader's praise. Izuku, it was nothing, Issei, that's why I came to help Luigi. Well, what project did you tell him to do, Issei? Issei, you'll see it and I'm sure you'll love it, and tell me, is everything ready and installed, dear doctor? Izuku, of course, it is in my factory and everything is ready. Follow me and I will show you. Issei and the betrayed follow the green-haired doctor further down the stairs of the base, until they reach another elevator that was high-tech. From there they enter and go down the elevator that leads further to the underground. This base does have many things, and that it is something that no one knows that has more surprises. Returning to the topic, after reaching the lowest floor, the door opens, revealing a huge Izuku robot factory. It had many small, medium and large machines. Basically this place was something nice where the green hair builds Izuku, looks at the others. The project is in this part of the factory, plus Mephiles is waiting for them. Issei, take us there. Izuku and the others continue on their way in the factory, but before they continue advancing, they arrive from there, and there was Mephiles the Dark himself waiting for them, but he was not alone, since there were 3 people of which were Izuku's acquaintances, and you will see who they are. Mephiles, I see you've already arrived. Are you all together? Issei, yes, they are all. Izuku, it's good that you came. I was already bored of waiting for you to get here, says a girl with blonde hair in a schoolgirl uniform. Izuku, don't worry, it's Toga, I'm sorry for making you wait. 2. Don't forget my Izuku, remember that we share you, says a blonde with a cap, black clothes and white boots. Izuku, hee, I haven't forgotten Kami. 3. And don't forget us Midoriya-kun, says a pink-haired girl with glasses and a sleeveless shirt and long black braids. 4. Remember that we are also your girlfriends, my love, says a blonde with a red shirt with a striped bow tie and long gray braids and 2 brown boots. Izuku, you know that I didn't forget about you, May and Melissa, either. Since you helped me with this project, I thank you. Remember that I joined you with the intention of fulfilling my goal of creating a just society and putting an end to those false heroes who betrayed you, says a black-haired man with a white mask. I agree with him, boy, says a pretty girl with clothes the same color as her hair and white boots. Izuku, Patience, Stain, and Lady Nagant, once I help my friends with this project we will leave, so be patient. Himiko Toga, Novia da Izuku, Kami Utsushimi, Novia da Izuku, Mei Hatsum, Novia da Izuku, Melissa Shield, Izuku's girlfriend, Stain, Izuku's ally, Lady Nagant, Izuku's ally. Toga, we hope so, since when we're done with this, we want to have fun with you. Licks lips. Kami, yes, we feel a little strange not having you in bed anymore, with a lewd face. Izuku, sigh. Girls, you better hold on a little longer, once I help you with this project that I have prepared, especially the revenge that we are about to achieve, you will have moments with me until I completely fill you up. Toga/Kami, that's what we're waiting for. Jijijiji. Issei, Arrow's eyebrow, problems with 2 excited women wanting to do it with you every day. Izuku, nay, you can't even imagine it. Maybe I'm already used to letting them abuse me, although they tend to go a little overboard, but let's leave this aside and let's get into it. Now that we know who they are, they enter through the door ahead. From there 2 robots appeared, one was yellow and the other was red. Izuku, Orbit, Cubit, we've arrived. Orbit, boss, it's nice to see you. Cubit, we await your orders, boss. Izuku, tell me, is everything in order with the project I created for my friends? Orbit, of course, everything is in order as you ordered. Cubit, did you really give that order? Confused, Orbit, slaps him, shut up. Cubit, 2. Izuku, with his eyes half closed, typical of you 2, opens his eyes. Anyway, here I present this project that I have prepared for you. Look carefully from there. Isuku shows his project, which were several capsules where a human enters, especially that the same black onyx emerald is seen connected to all the capsules. Futaro, what are those capsules? With doubt, Isuku, it's funny that you ask, Futaro, as you know Issei told me to build this to connect the black onyx emerald through these capsules where they will receive the dark powers of the emerald Mario, so we just have to enter one of those capsules and that's it. We will have those powers, Melissa. Exactly, that's why our boyfriend, along with Hatsum, worked on this, so say, do you already want to have the powers of the black onyx emerald? Even if you don't believe it, there are several life rulers that you know, who took away everything you love and know and want to destroy them, right? I would be, May, and you have done everything for those traitors and you turned your back on them for believing those life rulers. Don't you think it's unfair that everything you've done for them? It was just for nothing, serious. Hearing that, the betrayed couldn't help but clench their fists helplessly. To tell the truth, each of the betrayed were left by those people who they considered family and friends for other guys they don't know, and now they wanted to take revenge on them with the help of the new green hair project Becerra. Tell us, we will enter one of those capsules, yes or no? Very serious, Mario. To tell the truth, I already wish I had those powers to kill that pretty boy. Haru, very serious. Luigi, I talk the same about Pablo, very serious. Futaro, that poor one is going to pay for everything, so I agree with my companions, very serious. Izuku, oh, I see that you already want to have those emerald powers, so don't say any more. Just enter one of the capsules and wait for it to activate the machine where it will release its spark, and it is the spark of revenge. Intertwines his fingers while smiling evilly. Mario, Luigi, Becerra and Futaro without wasting time do what Issei tells them and enter one of the capsules. When they enter, each one's hatch closes, waiting for the moment that everyone was waiting for to arrive. Izuku, very good, Orbit, Cubit, turn on the machine, it's time to transfer all the essence of the dark emerald to you, with an evil smile, to which both robots pay attention and one of them presses a few buttons on the control panel, then Orbit pulls a lever that was on the panel. From there the capsules turn on the lights and electricity was present in the cables that they connected the black onyx emerald. From there said electricity from the emerald passes through the 4 capsules and towards their work. At that time, the 4 betrayed begin to feel electrical discharges of purple rays throughout their body and they can't help but scream in great pain. Mario, Luigi, Becerra, Futaro, an intense purple glow is present throughout the factory as they came from one of the capsules where they were Issei, Mephiles, Izuku, including their girlfriends and allies, only watched, as at the same time the former chestnut only smiles evilly at the see that everything is going perfect. When the glow disappears and the electricity goes away, the doors of the capsules open, releasing a quantity of smoke. Issei and Mephiles already knew what it was. Issei, and tell me guys, how do they feel? The smoke little by little was revealing itself to others with a new appearance, suggesting that dark powers ran through its veins. Mario, I feel great, now I feel more powerful, dark purple aura. Mario appearance. Luigi, I feel great too, plus now I feel pretty good and want to smash 2 heads, generating purple smoke. Appariencia de Luigi. Becerra, from now on, that Demon Zen won't know who attacked him, with an evil smile. Becerra's appearance. Futaro, get ready one, because now I will make you suffer for having sent me to prison. And believe me, I will make tremendous chaos in that place when I find you. Cold look. Futaro appearance. Izuku, Hojojojojo, I see that my project worked. I'm a genius. A damn genius Mwahatoga. Size in love. That's our Izuku Kami. So cute, handsome and also smart, with hard eyes while also having a lustful look. Melissa. Even though he is a bad person and his laugh is too, we still love him. Love and look. May. I say the same, when we finish our thing, we will have fun with him in bed. With a lascivious smile, and Izuku's Harem agreed that after her green-haired boyfriend's revenge happens, they can celebrate with him, having their NTMT moment all night in the room. Mephiles. Well, now what you have to do is that you have to get used to your new powers, and for that you will have to train a little to master them. It took Issei 4 months to master his, and he is someone strong. On the other hand, you will have to do the same, but I'm sure you'll be able to master them faster. Betrayed. Okay, now that they all have their powers, it was time for each one to fulfill their revenge, but we will know that until later. Kyoto, Territorio yokai, the leaders, as well as Issei's exarchum, had arrived in yokai territory at the request of Yasaka herself with the intention of going to where Iblis was, freeing her and perhaps being of help in having Issei in their hands again because they couldn't. They will rest until they recover their only objective in their life. Yasaka, over here, the place where Iblis was sealed is in that temple up ahead. He points his finger at none other than the temple, Rias. So it's there, right? I would be, Yasaka. Yes, inside there is the seal where Iblis is imprisoned. She will be our winning ticket when we have Issei in our hands. Revel. So what are we doing here? Let's enter. Once everything was clarified, everyone climbs the stairs that lead to the temple until they reach the top. From there they enter the temple and can see that despite being a tourist place where people and tourists visit, this place was still nice, but they did not come to waste time just marveling at what was inside the temple, but rather the other reason why they were here. From there they reached the center of the temple and there was absolutely nothing, just a pedestal where there was a pyramid made of pure crystal as if it were an ornament. Yasaka. There it is, as you see, that is the seal where Iblis is imprisoned. It is this glass pyramid. Surzex. So this pyramid is locked in this pyramid. Yasaka. Exactly, in fact, this is the second time he visited this place. Odin, second time. Yasaka. Yes, it's because I still remember that after Mephiles sealed Iblis in this crystal pyramid and left her here after I banished him from my territory, I can't deny that it's the second time I see the seal where Iblis is imprisoned. Michael, well, what now? How do we free it from this seal? Yasaka. The truth, everyone pays attention. Yasaka. I have no idea. They all fall backwards to the ground. Rosweiss. You have no idea. Then how the hell are we going to know if this pyramid is where this Iblis is locked in? When you have no idea how to release it. Annoyed, Yasaka, and how will I know? I only knew that Mephiles locked Iblis in that pyramid, but I didn't know about the else and I didn't even know how to free her. Annoyed, Penemu, Diemon, it's amazing that the great yokai leader doesn't know how to open a seal from a simple crystal pyramid. Sarcastic, Yasaka, hey, are you making fun of me, you DMN grain-eating crow? Bothers, Penemu, and who do you think I talk to the most, you two-legged furra? Annoyed. Just when they were about to start a fight because of the insults that had nothing to do with the other, Rias stopped them. Rias, stop both of you, this discussion is not leading us to anything and what we really came for. You know that ours is to have Issei back with us and you are going to waste your time fighting over stupid things. You better calm down. These words from the redhead made the two of them calm down, because they knew that such a ridiculous argument would not lead them to want to get back the man they truly love. After that, Rias grabs the pyramid. She looked at it very carefully in case she found an answer on how to free Iblis the flame from her confinement, but unfortunately she found nothing. Aquino, do you find anything? Rias? Rias? Sigh. No, Aquino, unfortunately I don't know how to get that Iblis out of her confinement. I really have no idea. Asia. No, he can't say that. He knows we want Issei-san back. Pleading. Zenobia. It's true, we already want him with us. We want to hug him, kiss him, let him touch our bodies when we are with him in bed. That's why I looked for a way to get that goddess out of there in that pyramid. Rias. I know, girls, I think the same as you, but I can't find anything in this pyramid, not a writing, not a single clue, nothing. This can't be happening. I just want to have my Issei back. Let's at least go if you're in there. Help us get back the person we love. Shedding tears, Rias is all desperate even though she tries to find a single clue to free Iblis from her confinement, but unfortunately she still doesn't find anything. Rias, it's useless. I still can't find anything. This is not working. Without thinking twice, he throws the pyramid to the ground while he kneels and is about to cry from frustration when he sees that he will never be able to get the person he loves back. Everything is over, but suddenly something happens that they obviously did not expect. The pyramid began to glow a dark red color combined with white. The leaders and the girls did not understand what was happening. Zeus, what's happening? Kuroka, Rias, what did you do? Naya. Rias, I don't know, but I just threw it away and out of nowhere this happened. At that point the dark red and white glow becomes more intense. The leaders and the girls move away because it could be dangerous, until out of nowhere strange flames of fire begin to come out inside the pyramid. Yasaka suddenly feels the presence of someone. I heard, of course I already knew who it was. Yasaka. Is that? The KWBI saw a small light of hope. She cannot deny it, because she knew who was there at the moment, until suddenly these flames of fire took the form of a strange animal almost with the appearance of Mephiles, only it had reddish hair along with chestnut, emerald green eyes and a voice coming from the mysterious creature. It didn't take long for said creature to reveal its identity. Who dares to free me from this confinement? To me, to the goddess of disaster, the most powerful in all the yokai territory. Iblis the flame. Both the girls and the leaders smile as they see that they still had hope to recover Issei and the others again, while he himself, along with his partner Mephiles, will have some problems that will surely put them in serious trouble. Meanwhile, with the others, after they had already acquired the dark powers of the dark yokai, they would first have to completely MSTR them through intense training and then use them for when they go to exact their revenge. With Issei, he was training by giving several punches and kicks in the air accompanied by shoulder pads and knee pads that weigh about 50 tons, like Dragon Ball, outside the forest and almost near the hidden base, while he is observed by Mephiles, who was sitting on a rock watching his successor training in the air. However, the dark yokai feels a strange chill all over his body, which has him confused. He didn't understand what that feeling was, but he had a bad feeling, and even more so when he sees how his hands start to shake, which it has him very confused but at the same time worried. Mephiles, thinking, what's wrong with me? Why am I shaking like I'm scared? What is happening to me? I think very seriously but at the same time worried. Issei stops training, descends from the heavens to the ground to take a breath and sees Mephiles with a quite serious but at the same time worried look. Issei, something's wrong, Mephiles. Mephiles, no, nothing, just keep training, I'm fine. Issei, confused, did not understand the dark yokai's behavior, but decided to ignore it and continue with his training, but first he decided to take a short break. Mephiles, on the other hand, once again continues with a serious but at the same time worried face, since something very bad was about to happen in the future. In an unknown place we find ourselves in a completely empty space, or rather, a place where only supernatural beings, up to and including the Chaos Brigade, know it perfectly. That place was nothing less than the dimensional gap where the most powerful dragon god in the entire supernatural world was located. And that was Great Red. But he was not alone, since next to him was a black-haired lowly girl on a floating rock, who turned out to be none other than the goddess of infinity, Ophis Ouroboros, Great Red. Well, Ophis, have you already decided? Ophis, well, the truth is I don't have anything to do here anymore, so I plan to visit it and maybe keep him company. I already wish I could hug him and kiss him as many times as I want. After those unhappy beaches, including those cheap leaders, did a lot of damage to my future husband. You see, so that everyone wants to know what Ophis was referring to, she was referring to none other than Issei, but you will wonder why. Well, the answer is like this. After the war against the Chaos Brigade, the defeat of Trihexa and the escape of Rizavim, Ophis was the only one who did not betray the former Chestnut. Besides that, during the day he saved her from the Chaos Brigade a long time ago, the lowly for some reason she began to feel some feelings in her chest. At first, she was just a dragon goddess without feelings, since she knew that feelings were symbols of weakness for any human being. But this feeling she had made her change her mind. When she was with Issei before leaving for the dimensional gap with Great Red, from there she came to the conclusion that Ophis was in love with Issei. She did not know it, but when she knew that feeling she had in the depths of her heart, for the first time she wanted to share those feelings with Issei, and perhaps he himself could accept her. Not for nothing, she saw him as her hero and wants to make it up to him, declaring her love for him. However, for months later, she heard the news that Issei was betrayed and was abandoned to his fate by the factions, and the girls abandoned him to be with another boy who turned out to be an infiltrator of the Chaos Brigade, commanded by the leader Lucifer. Ophis felt sad and devastated when she heard the news, and for the first time she felt anger and hatred against Issei's ex-am and the leaders who planned to vent her anger for what they did to the brunette. If it weren't for Big Red, who calmed her down because it wasn't worth unloading her anger on them, because he himself said that they would already get karma for what they did because of being so stupid, so idiotic to believe more in a good-for-nothing than his ally of the factions, At first Ophis denied such a response from the dragon and continued with that thirst for anger and wanted to destroy all the territories of the factions as a sign of his contempt towards them for what they have done to him. The only person that I loved for the first time secretly when I protected her, even so, Great Red knew that he was never wrong, that very soon the factions and Issei's exam would pay the consequences for what they had done. And so it was, when they learned the truth about Ryu, the appearance of Issei with the power of Mephiles and his revenge, in the end the factions and the girls earned that karma that Great Red mentioned for so long. Ophis was not only happy that the factions and the girls received karma for having betrayed Issei, but she is also happy that Issei is still alive. There would be her opportunity to declare her love for him. She could no longer hide it from him. There was still a chance to do it now. Returning to the important topic, Great Red, seeing Ophis smile and no longer showing her typical monotonous face that she always expresses when she does not present her emotions at all, only smiles to see that the infinite goddess is very excited to want to see the goddess again. Person who loves Great Red. Well, it said, I'll open a portal and let you go there. Ophis, sure. Thus, Great Red opens a portal from the dimensional gap, and without wasting time, Ophis leaves through the portal, flying through the skies. She already longed to see her man again, although she does not realize that Issei already has 3 other suitors who also want to win his heart. Ophis, very soon we will see each other again, Issei, so I can declare my love for you and we can be together as I always dreamed of. He says while increasing the speed of his flight in the direction of where Issei was. Kyoto, Territorio yokai, a mysterious yokai made of fire with burning lava, had become present after a redhead wanting to free her to help her, just like the traitors with their goal of recovering the person she loves, was currently present. Iblis looks in surprise at the factions and Issei's exim, who only begins to say, Iblis, tell me, are you the ones who are trying to free me from this confinement? Rias, that's right, are you Iblis the Flame? Iblis, yes, that's my name. For you. At that, the yokai leader appears before the goddess of disaster. Iblis of course recognizes the 9-tailed QB standing in front of her. Yasaka, it's been a long time since I've seen you, Iblis. Serious, Iblis. But look who we have here. If it's our former yokai leader, Yasaka, tell me, who are the ones accompanying you? Yasaka, you see, these people who are here are the leaders of different factions of the supernatural world. Iblis, I see, and tell me, why are you trying to free me? Rias, you see, your name is Iblis, right? Devil, the Rias, we are here to talk to you about a yokai that seems familiar to you. From there the redhead shows a hologram with the image of Mephiles the Dark. Iblis upon seeing it cannot help but make a sad face until she suddenly begins to shed tears. Iblis, Mephiles with tears in his eyes, Asia, is something wrong? Iblis, and no, it's nothing, simply seeing Mephiles filled me with happiness, but also with a lot of sadness and guilt for what I did in the past. Shedding tears, Rossweiss, what did you do in the past? I would be, Iblis. You see, everything happened in yokai territory, led by Yasaka, Mephiles and I. Believe it or not, we were lovers and our relationship was going well, but everything was ruined when he appeared, that demon yokai in black with the name Shadow. Thanks to that stupid guy, I fell for his charms, forgetting about Mephiles forever, to the point that I kicked him out of my life. But when I discovered that that stupid guy was a womanizer, I confronted him, telling him what it meant, that, and he said that he only loved me for my body and not for true love. That's when I got very angry. Without thinking twice, I eliminated him from the face of existence. When I did, I tried to apologize to Mephiles, but he didn't accept my apology. Tried everything but he told me no many times, so with no other option I tried to get him back by force, and we got into a battle where in the end I ended up losing, and then Mephiles knew he couldn't finish with me, so I use his powers to seal myself in this pyramid. I was trapped in this pyramid for many years, and you don't know how sad I feel when I betray Mephiles. Seriously, all I want is to have him back. Very sad. Iblis only starts to cry because she felt bad for having betrayed the dark yokai, Issei's exim. Having understood his story, they understood that like Iblis, they also changed their man for another who turned out to be a traitor and an infiltrated enemy. So Rias only approaches. And Iblis, who was still crying and without thinking twice, gives her a hug, surprising her. Rias, don't worry, you don't have to cry, we understand you. We also made the serious mistake that cost us the loss of our future husband. Iblis, what do you mean? Even with tears in his eyes, to which Rias tells Iblis about Issei Hyoudu's betrayal, about how they changed him for another man, they blamed him for something he never did, how the man they fell in love with turned out to be an enemy and how Issei returned but no longer being the same Iblis. I see, so I'm not the only one who betrayed Mephiles. Aquino, yes, and that is why we are here to try to free you from this confinement and ask you for help to recover our future husband, and then we will help you so that Mephiles is also with you, Yasaka. Look, what I don't forgive is that you, like Mephiles, made casualties in my territory, but just this once I forgive you as long as I also want my future husband back. Serzex, so tell us, Iblis, do you want to help us recover the person we came to recover? Iblis, okay, I will help you, but if you want me to help you, you have to free me first, Rias. What? But if I see you I will already free you because you can't get out of that pyramid and now Iblis. Nita, although you see me free here, I am still trapped in this pyramid. Look, Iblis tries to fly through the air, but suddenly some dark purple chains catch her and force her to fall to the ground, implying that she was not yet free. Iblis, come, it's as if I were the genie in the lamp. I'm still a prisoner in this pyramid, and no matter how much I try to get out and get away, this pyramid has a life of its own and brings me back Zenobia, and wouldn't it be easy to destroy this pyramid so that it is free? Iblis, neither. Look what happens when he destroyed it. The yokai fires a burst of lava, melting the pyramid, but suddenly it rebuilds itself as if by magic. Iblis, you saw it, I'm not free from this prison yet. Michael, and then how are we going to free you? Iblis, you see, that's simple. The person responsible for locking me in this pyramid is my cute Mephiles. Only he can get me out of here, Yasaka, so we're just bringing Mephiles so I can free you. Iblis, exactly, although also, there are other ways to free myself from this confinement, and that is the black onyx emerald that he has, or also his own boyfriend or his friends who also have the same powers as Mephiles Gabriel. So if we bring the black onyx emerald or even those that have the same power that our Issei had, will you come out of there to help us get it back? Hopeful, Iblis. Exactly, that is why we want to recover our own husbands. Therefore, your duty is to catch Mephiles, also capture those who possess the same powers as him and even the black onyx emerald to free me and so on. We can agree to work together to get our husbands back, Serzex, and also to our ally for the factions Iblis. Exactly, and what do they say? The girls start to think. They had a ray of hope to get Issei back. It was just about capturing him and Mephiles, or also one of his friends to free Iblis so they can get back what is theirs. Rias, we accept, to get my pretty pawn back, count on me. Aquino, with me, I'm already looking forward to having him in bed when we get him back, with a stuck smile. Asia, me too, Issei's exegium, us too, Iblis, excellent. Well, that's all for now. So I'm counting on you to get me out of this confinement and we can get our loved ones back. With that, the factions, even the girls, had a mission, and that was to capture Mephiles or also Issei and the others who have the same powers as the Dark Yokai, but it could also be to steal the Black Onyx Emerald in order to free Iblis and thus have again to the person they love so much. They don't know what they are getting into, but anyway, they hope to get back what was theirs even if it meant by force. Without further ado, they begin to go back to the meeting, but in this case they take the pyramid with Iblis inside, as if she were a genie from the lamp XD, since they were not planning to leave her there, since she also wants to be freed and so on. Have Mephiles back even if it means completely destroying an entire city. 3 months later we now return to the betrayed, who have already spent 3 months since they inherited Mephiles' powers. As for Issei, in addition to training with Urza to become stronger, he also decided to train his friends how to correctly use dark powers. And so in these months they already learned to MSTR it, and now they were ready to do what they wanted to do for a long time in that era. Take his revenge at the base inside the waterfall. All the betrayed were gathered, and they were ready to leave. Issei, well friends, now that you have completely mastered your new powers, are you ready to exact your revenge? Mario, of course, he already wanted to finish off that pretty boy Haru. Luigi, I say the same about Pablo. That unfortunate man will pay for having taken everything from Mario and me. Bowser, you will not be alone, since I will also go. Right now I sent my children Bowser Jr. and Bowser to start the coup d'etat in the kingdom of that traitor. It is time to recover what is mine, Mario. I know you're going to do it, Bowser, that where Peach will owe us an explanation. Luigi, also, I heard that King Boo and his daughter Basset will also help in the coup d'etat in the Mushroom Kingdom. Bowser, the better the help. Future, I already wanted to put an end to that BSTRD for locking me in jail. I want to make him suffer. Basera. Same thing, it's time to get my revenge and Chisato will accompany me. Chisato, anything for you, my cute Basera. Flirtatious look. Basera, Mom, seeing you like this makes me want, whispers in her ear, to tie you to the bed and listen to you scream my name so many times while you are full of pleasure. Chisato felt excited to hear it coming from her lover, because when they finished their revenge, this time, they would have their moment alone tonight. Mephiles, well guys, revenge. Thus the Plumber brothers, Bowser, Futaro, Basera and Chisato begin to leave while Isuku, his girlfriends, Stain and Nagant were also about to leave. Isuku, well, we're leaving too, but not before I'll send one of mine badniks with a surveillance drone so they can see through the giant screen what each of us are doing. Isuku presses a button from one of his gloves showing several badniks floating in the form of a surveillance drone. Isuku, so you will see us exacting our revenge in every part, so wish us luck, Issei. Sure, Isuku, good luck to the others too, Isuku. Okay gang, it's time for revenge, let's go, haha. So Isuku and company take the elevator, since outside the base there was a ship with which the green-haired doctor along with the others will go to their hometown to exact their revenge. With Mario and Luigi, they are both seen arriving from the skies in the forest heading to the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario, wow, it's amazing to be back in this disgusting place. Luigi, I think the same, but for now we should concentrate on Bowser giving us the signal and then we will attack Mario. Yes, Haru, pretty boy, prepare to suffer before me with an evil smile. With Futaro, this had arrived in Japan from the heavens. It was floating through the air looking at everything around it. Futaro, well, home sweet home, it's a shame that I have to return to this disgusting town, but at least I'm here since I have a score to settle with that animal, with an evil smile. With Basera like Futaro, he along with his beloved had arrived at the other part of Japan, ready to take out his anger on the person who took everything from him. Basera, the time has come. For my revenge, with an evil smile while Chisato smiled the same way as her lover, each betrayed person was ready for revenge, and without a doubt something interesting will come that you cannot miss. In the Mushroom Kingdom, Mario and Luigi looked at that kingdom that was their home before. They knew they did not want to be here, but it was because they wanted revenge against the two men who took everything from them. Mario, I see that this pathetic kingdom full of those mushroom heads hasn't changed anything at all. Serious? Luigi, same thing, I wish I could go there and attack, but we have to wait for Bowser to give the attack signal and then we will do our part. Serious? Mario, yes, I hope that when we see those two, we will make them suffer like never before, hee with an evil smile. Luigi, I say the same, brother, with an evil smile. So they both just fly towards the Mushroom Kingdom, waiting for Bowser to do his part, and then Mario brothers would put those BSTRDS who took away everything they loved in their place. In the castle of the Mushroom Kingdom there was a princess with blonde hair, a pink dress sitting on her throne with a sad expression, but she was not the only one since she was accompanied by a princess with brown hair in an orange dress. She was also the same as her friend, and in turn she was another princess with blonde hair and a turquoise dress who was in charge of comforting her two friends. How can she be so stupid? Debanish. The only person she loved so much because of T, that pretty boy who couldn't be trusted, crying. Princess Peach, Mario's ex-girlfriend. 2. Why yes, Luigi. And he wasn't like that with me, he saved that idiot who was just too jealous, and thanks to him, I lost the only man that I love so much, crying. Princessa Daisy, ex-novia de Luigi. 3. Now girls, calm down, you know that Mario and Luigi will be found by everyone and will return here to the kingdom, and once they return, we will apologize and we will make sure to kick Pablo and Haru out of here. Rosalina, you will see the real reason why Peach and Daisy were sad was all because of two people who of course were the ruin of Mario and Luigi's life, and those were Prince Haru along with his fellow plumber Pablo, who had came to the Mushroom Kingdom to make Peach, both Daisy and the other subordinates of the kingdom fall before her feet, especially so that the blonde as well as the brunette became lovers of both boys, forgetting of course about the brothers. to the point that Peach I make a tough decision to banish them both from the Mushroom Kingdom. So they thought that with Mario and Luigi gone, things would be normal for the Mushroom Kingdom, but unfortunately they were wrong, because with Haru, despite having formed a relationship with Peach, especially having part of the Mushroom Kingdom in his possession, in the end, everything it went to hell when Haru behaved like a somewhat spoiled, arrogant and selfish prince. Because when the Toads were resting from their work, he forced them to work, and if they didn't do what he said he would give them a punishment that I would not forget. In the end they were made to work until they were tired, as if Haru saw the Toads as slaves, since before Mario was not like that with them. And as for being selfish, when it was time for the banquet with the princess, the latter wanted the entire banquet for himself, causing both Peach and his other Toads to starve for a day, until Peach got tired of him and made the decision to break up their relationship since she couldn't stand having a prince. Spoiled so bad, still, she regretted it when she banished Mario since before the plumber was not this selfish with the Toads. And as for Pablo, who had formed a relationship with Daisy, well, in the end everything went down when Daisy discovered that Pablo was a womanizer and slept with other women from other places. She knows this because on some occasions she had seen him arrive at the house smelling of a woman's perfume. From there I ended up discovering that he was wearing a woman's it is there that Daisy runs from the house to Pablo. Since she would never accept a person who is a womanizer with him, Daisy felt wrong to abandon Luigi, since he was the only person who did not leave her with another woman, but only loved her with his heart, and she took it upon herself to break it by changing him for Pablo. And as for Mario and Luigi's ex-friends, they stopped being friends of Haru and Pablo, who the latter did not care about. After all, I consider them a nuisance. Their Peach organized a search to find Mario and Luigi, but unfortunately months have passed since they have not found them. Peach and Daisy, as well as Mario and Luigi's other ex-friends, felt bad for having betrayed the only heroes of the Mushroom Kingdom, and they would do everything possible to have them back. Peach, but and I miss Mario, else and they don't find him. And I'll feel empty if they never find him. Crying, Daisy, Luigi, how I miss you, I wish I could have you by my side. Crying, Rosalina, girls, worried. Suddenly the Toad enters the princess's throne room to inform her about the search for the brothers. Peach, tell me, did you find my Mario? With some hope, Daisy, and my Luigi too. With some hope, Toad, negative, we haven't found them yet, we're sorry, although I'm here to inform you of something else. It turns out that there were rumors that Mario and Luigi allied themselves with Bowser. This left the three girls shocked to hear such a comment from the Mushroom Head. Peach, in shock, Mario wouldn't be able to work for Bowser. Daisy, it's true, he is the enemy. He and my Luigi would not be able to ally themselves with that lizard. Sad, Rosalina, exactly, they wouldn't be able to do it. Toad, in fact, I don't know if everything I tell you turns out to be false, it was just rumors. Rosalina, and speaking of Bowser, he hasn't attacked the kingdom for several months now. Could it be that he gave up? Peach, I don't know, but this won't lead us to finding Mario. Sad, Toad, but also Princess, there was another rumor I heard, and it turns out that Bowser and King Boo formed an alliance. Daisy, well, if that's the case, then it would become a double problem for the kingdom since King Boo is also someone fearsome and, get sad, my Luigi was able to defeat him on many occasions. Suddenly a great tremor begins to occur, alerting the princesses and the Toad, and then an alarmed Toad arrives in the throne room. Toad, Princess, we have trouble. The Mushroom Kingdom is being invaded by Bowser and he's not coming alone, King Boo is coming with him. Peach, what's? It can't be, everyone evacuate the area, we must defend the Mushroom Kingdom at all costs. Rosalina, I will help on the battlefield, I will go there right away. Flies away, Daisy, we're going too, it's time to put those two in their place. Peach, the two princesses activate their fire power UPS, and head to the battlefield to stop Bowser and King Boo, who are currently causing disaster throughout the kingdom. In the forest, Mario and Luigi saw the explosion and fire in the Mushroom Kingdom. It was the signal to look for Haru and Pablo to finish them off once and for all. Mario, look, is the sign. Luigi, well, it's time to slaughter the two life ruiners. In the Mushroom Kingdom, Bowser and King Boo were doing their thing. They began to kill all the Toads one by one, and they were not alone since Bowser and King Boo's army killed all the Toads as if they were flies. More or less this is Bowser's army and King Boo's XD, Bowser, who was in his clown car, and King Boo, who was floating through the air, watched as his army destroyed all the toads in the entire kingdom like insects. Bowser, soon I will get back what belongs to me, looks at King Boo, really thank you for accompanying me Boo King Boo. No problem, normal, I thought I would reject your offer to ally with you, but when I found out that these traitors did something to Mario and Luigi, I wanted to give them what they deserved and more than anything the reason why you want the Mushroom Kingdom. Here is King Boo's true form in this story. When one of the Koopa is hit with a barrel that causes a large explosion, Bowser and King Boo look at who was responsible for throwing that barrel. Stop there Bowser and King Boo. They were Bowser and King Boo's ex-friends who had arrived to stop them at any cost. With Futaro the latter flew throughout the city of Japan at night. He saw everything that was happening. Since he had been locked up months ago, Japan has been a very corrupt society. Why am I telling you this? You see, since months ago when Futaro had been locked up in prison, the city in Japan that Futaro is in has changed after the arrival of a corrupt government in the city where he previously lived that does not do its job well, since instead of helping the entire city, it only ends up making it worse, because crimes increased, murders have increased, there were robberies, assaults, killings, casualties of people, of course death to poor people, but above all, there were corrupt police officers. They lock people up unfairly without even looking for proof if he is actually guilty of everything or not. That was why Futaro had a strong hatred for the corrupt police officers when they locked him up, because they blamed him for something he never did. He did it without looking for a single piece of evidence, when in reality, it was Juan's fault for locking him up there, but he hates the corrupt government of his old city more than he inadvertently blames several people he met in prison who have done nothing wrong. But anyway, those corrupt police officers did not care about him and they locked them up in prison. That is why before going there to that place where he met important people who helped him escape, he had some pending matters to attend to against the person who ruined his life. Futaro, it seems this good-for-nothing government has made a corrupt society in Japan. This is the last straw. I don't understand why they chose those brainless guys who don't know how to do their job well. But you will see that sooner or later this city will end up in ashes when I free some people I met in prison. It's time to put this city in order, help the poor people and put an end to the rich blacks, the self-centered, etc. But first, landing on the ground, I have to find that disgusting animal that ruined my life and then I will do something else before I go to free some friends of mine. But above all everything blushes, I have to free that person who has gave himself to me for no apparent reason. We don't know what that last thing the black-haired man said means, but it smells to us like something he did in prison about surrendering himself to that person, but whoever it is will know. He begins to walk throughout the city without being seen by the people who were passing by, but more than anything, to avoid meeting one of those traitors who locked him in jail. But as he continued walking, he saw something that angered him. Futaro, wait, what the F dash? Angry, and he saw it. It left him quite upset since it was a wanted poster with a photo of himself and it said Futaro Yusuji, 17-year-old young man. If you find him, contact one of his relatives, reward $1,500,000,000 yen of course. This leaves the black-haired man very angry, who displays a dark aura and then hits the post where his sign was with force, leaving a hole in it. Futaro, furious, they are blowjobs, they are blowjobs, they are blowjobs, F your mother, stupid hypocrites, after everything they did to me, you don't know how angry I was when they didn't defend me. He calms down, I must calm down, I must save my anger against other brainless people. Well, I have to look for that idiot Juan, he can't be very far away without any other choice. She decided to continue on her way to look for Juan, since she had pending accounts to attend to with him. In the Mushroom Kingdom, let's leave Futaro for a few moments and go with Mario and Luigi who, after exacting their revenge, the Toads, like Peach, are shocked to learn that Bowser has already discovered his secret, but Peach tries to make everything Bowser says it's a lie. Peach, "No, you lie, this kingdom belongs to the Toads, everything you say is pure lying." Bowser, why is Peach so tense? If you know that you are trying to hide the truth and refuse to respond to others. Daisy, Peach, what is Bowser saying? Peach, you don't understand it, it's crazy, this kingdom was not owned to the Koopas, but it was to the Toads, it's crazy. King Boo, Yes, she tries to deny the truth, that is why in addition to being a traitor, she is a liar. Toad, still, we will not give you the kingdom. I know you only manipulate Mario and Luigi. Toad, Mario, Luigi, you must understand that Bowser is only deceiving you, he is controlling you. Mario, to another dog with that bone, they know that Bowser doesn't lie and of course he's not controlling us. We just join him and that's it. Serious? Luigi, that's why we aim to kick them out of the old Koopa Kingdom. Serious? Daisy, but Luigi, you must wake up. Bowser is controlling your mind, please. Pleading, Peach, Mario, for whatever you want the most, give me a second chance. I promise you that I will change. Also I can integrate you into the kingdom. Give me a second chance. Pleading, Mario, it's too late to apologize, Peach. Luigi, I say the same about you, Daisy, so that's not going to work. Bowser, you already heard it, so if you would be so kind as to give me back the kingdom and leave peacefully without fighting, what would you say? Toad, never. This kingdom belongs to us and we are not going to give it to you. Toad, before I dead then let you use the Mushroom Kingdom, so we won't leave without a fight. Bowser, sigh, but how foolish they are. Well, if they want to do it the hard way, then we will do it the hard way, but first we must wait for my son who will bring 2 guests of honor King Boo. Senses a presence. In fact, they're already here. Bowser, Mario, Luigi as well as the traitors see Bowser's flying ship approaching the Mushroom Kingdom. Peach and the others get into a fighting pose because they knew that another of the Koopa King's army would come. But, instead of an exercise coming, 2 silhouettes are seen jumping from the flying ship until they fall to the ground abruptly, creating some dust in the entire area. Bowser, I see they've already arrived. King Boo, we were waiting for you. It's nothing, Dad, you know that my junior brother and I are not late to the party. Everyone was in the meeting room, waiting for an important person. While they waited, we found ourselves in a room where Issei's ex-lovers were talking with the fire yokai Iblis the Flame, who was still trapped in the pyramid floating around the air as if it were a genie from the magic lamp. But getting back to the topic, the girls were talking a little to kill time while they waited for a person who was investigating Iblis. And tell me, how important is that boy called Issei? Irina, very much. Our darling is so important to us. Gabriel, exactly, since without him, our life would have no meaning. Iblis, haha, I understand you. I am the same with Mephiles, who, without him by my side, it would make no sense to continue living Xenovia, and we don't care if he hates us, because we still love him. Rias, that's why we are waiting for the arrival of a friend of mine, who is researching a new power that is capable of matching the powers that my pretty pawn has, and once we knock him out. So, we erase his memory and the matter is resolved. With a smile, Iblis, I see, but remember that I am also going to help you, and for that, you need to steal the black onyx emerald that Mephiles has so that you can free me, and once I defeat Mephiles, I allow you to use your spell to erase his memory. And so we can be together as we always wanted to be, with a look of love. Ikino, Era, I already long to have Issei-kun on my BRs, as much as he has always liked. The door to the room opens, revealing the yokai leader Yasaka, who notifies the girls of the arrival of that person. Yasaka, girls, Azazel is back. Everyone come to the room quickly. Leaves. Asia, that's good, Azazel-sensei is back. Penemu, come on girls. Issei's ex-lovers head to the meeting room, while Rias had the pyramid with Iblis floating. Once they reach the meeting room, they see Azazel returning through a strange blue carrying, and in his hands he carried a large wooden box with a blanket that covered it so as not to reveal what the leader Grigory had brought, and left it on the desk where the other leaders were sitting. Surzex, welcome back. Azazel, have you already investigated what kind of power they will use to defeat Issei-kun? Azazel, sure, to tell the truth it took me 4 months to find these, but at least I have them. Rias, Azazel-sensei, welcome. Azazel, hello girls, it's good that you came at the right time. Iblis, excuse me, who is this guy? Yasaka, this is Azazel, the leader of the Grigory faction. Devil, Azazel, so you're Iblis, right? Iblis, yes, it's me, it's a pleasure to meet you. Azazel, and why do you look like a genie since you're floating on top of a pyramid? Rosweiss, long history. Odin, well, back to the topic, what research did you find? Azazel, that's what I'm going for. You see, months ago when you left, I invented a gun that is capable of traveling to another dimension. From there I arrived at a dimension where the age of pirates exists. Oh, pirates? Azazel? Yes, pirates. In addition to them, there were also other inhabitants who were sailors whose objective was to capture the pirates, but on some occasions the era of pirates began thanks to a single pirate who traveled across the entire ocean before his execution. Zeus. Azazel, we are not here to hear stories about pirates and sailors, but about the research you did. Serious. Azazel? I already said that's what I'm going for. You see, when I traveled in that world, I thought it wouldn't have anything interesting and I was thinking of traveling somewhere else, but I saw something that caught my attention and that there were pirates and sailors who had strange powers. In a mysterious way, since thanks to those powers, they were practically not normal pirates and sailors, but rather, they were people who obtained powers thanks to what I found. I investigated and I saw the conclusion from where they got those strange powers. Behold, this I found for more 4 months, and the truth is I found all of these. Azazel removes the blanket and shows some strange fruits of different colors, similar to a normal fruit but they are not. Ajuka, with a raised eyebrow. Really, Azazel? Is that what you investigated? Some fruits. Azazel, they are not just any fruits. These fruits are known as devil fruits, or also known as Akuma no Mi. Serious? Todos, Akuma no Mi. Azazel. That's right. You see, when I investigated those pirates and sailors, I came to the conclusion that they obtained those powers thanks to the Akuma no Mi. Here I will give you an example. Rias, Akino, takes out 2 fruits. Here you are. Tell you more details. Rias and Akino receive an Akuma no Mi each, yet they were still in doubt if the fruits really gave them powers that they would use to defeat Issei and Mephiles. Rias fruit, Akino fruit. Rias. Azazel sensei, are you sure one of those fruits will give us powers? Akino, yes, they look like normal fruits, only they have a strange shape. Azazel, you see, I will explain to you about those 2 fruits that you have in your hands, so pay attention. In that Azazel shows a hologram that had the image of a boy with black hair, a red long-sleeved shirt where he reveals an X-shaped scar on his chest, and one in one of his eyes. He is wearing blue breathes. At his waist he wears a yellow ribbon, 2 sandals on his feet, and of course his iconic straw hat on his head. Azazel, let's start with you. Rias. The fruit that you have in your hands is the fruit that belonged to this pirate, and that is called the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Rias. Gomu Gomu no Mi. Azazel. That's right, this fruit allows you to have the powers of a human made of RBB. If you eat it, your body would become like a stretchable RBB, and sometimes you will be immune to normal hits, bullets, since those attacks will only end bouncing off your body like a trampoline. Serious? Rias. You mean yes, how is fruit? Would my body turn to RBB? Azazel. That's right, but I'll tell you more details about the RBB powers. Now let's go with Akino's fruit. Azazel changes the image and shows a man with black hair. He is wearing black shorts, 2 black boots, a red pearl necklace, another necklace with a skull. He has a tattoo on his left arm with capital letters that start with S, and since the letter S was crossed out, another tattoo on his back with a strange skull, and then the last one has a cowboy hat with 2 glasses with a happy face and a sad one. Azazel. Akino, the fruit you have belonged to this pirate before he died. It is known as the Mera Mera no Mi. Akino, Mera Mera no Mi. Azazel. Exactly, the Mera no Mi allows you to create flames of fire from your hands. If you eat it you will not only have fire powers, but also your body would practically become fire, thus preventing common weapons from hurting you, since instead of hurting you, they will only end up piercing you, as if you, Akino, were a human torch. Akino, then my body would turn into fire without burning me, right? Azazel. Exactly, if you make contact with other fire things, don't worry, you won't be able to get hurt since your body would be made of fire, and then you can combine your electrical powers with fire. Akino, I see. Azazel, go ahead, you are the first to taste the fruits. Don't you want to get the person you love back, or are you going to let the traitor of Serafall Leviathan take them from your hands? This makes both girls put on a serious face, because they were not going to let Serafall take away the man they truly love. Rias, if we just get our Issei back and let that beach take him from us, we will do it. Serious? Akino, you can count on us. You'll see that we will have Issei-kun back even if he doesn't want to. Serious? It is then that both girls begin to eat the Akuma no Mi. While they were watched by the others, they ate every part of the fruit until there was nothing left. A few seconds pass and they don't feel anything, but suddenly, both girls start to make strange faces as if they were really undergoing a transformation, although in reality it was something else. Asia, Riasonissima. Word, Revel, Ikino, are you okay? Worried, Surzex, Azazel, what kind of fruits did you give the girls? Upset with Azazel but worried about his sister. But then Rias and Aquino stop making strange faces and stop making their Zenobia makeup. Irina, admit it. Until they both say Rias. That fruit tasted horrible, Aquino. Yes, that was bitter. This makes everyone fall on their backs in a comical way, because apparently the real reason why they made a face like they were suffering in reality. They were only suffering because the Akuma no Mi know it had a good flavor. Azazel. I had forgotten that detail, that the Akuma no Mi didn't taste that good. He leaders, and you just say it now, you idiots. Very angry, Azazel. Intimidation aura, I'm sorry Gabriel. Rias, don't you feel different? Rias, no, I look the same, I didn't feel any change. Aquino, I don't feel any change either. Could it be that Azazel-sensei lied to us? Azazel, they know I'm not lying, let's do the test. Asia, stretch one of Rias's cheeks. The blonde pays attention to Grigory's leader and stretches one of the redhead's cheeks. When she does so, you can see how Rias's cheek could stretch larger, up to a few meters longer. More or less like this, Asia. Okay, it's true, his cheek can be stretched as if it were a Yule. Rias, so you mean? Azazel, that's right Rias, your body has turned into RBB. Azazel, and now with Aquino, Zenovia. Yes. Azazel, try to cut Aquino in half with Durandal. Zenovia. How? Shocked. Aquino, what did he say? Is he going to let Zenovia kill me? Bothers. Michael, seriously, Azazel, what are you planning? Very serious, Azazel. Trust me, I have explained that your body has undergone a change. Zenovia, do it. The brunette didn't want to do it since Aquino was her friend. Azazel knew that Zenovia doesn't want to do it, so he tried this method to get her to do it. Azazel? Or don't tell me that you're going to leave it like this and then Serafall or another girl is going to take Issei away from you. Do you want that? This made Zenovia take out her Durandal upon hearing that, and then she does what Azazel asked of her. Aquino, Zenovia, Ispera. However, it was too late as Zenovia splits the black-haired girl in half, leaving everyone shocked except Azazel, because she knew this would work. Aquino, who had her eyes closed but felt like she was still alive, when she opens her eyes, she sees something that surprised her. He saw that her body began to burn in flames and of course she was split in half, but immediately her body began to regenerate because Aquino was now a human torch, to be more specific, a girl made of fire. Aquino, I'm still alive, nothing happened to me. Azazel, see, your body is now pure fire, you can basically regenerate no matter if someone shoots you or cuts you in half, you can regenerate every part of your body as long as part of your fire doesn't disappear. Odin, okay, I see that it wasn't a lie. Those Akuma no Mi gave them both powers. Surprised. Iblis, I see that they are different now than before. Serious. Azazel, that's right, but they need to learn to control their fruit powers. There is also another power that of course can help them become stronger and stronger, but I will tell them that when they MSTR their powers. Rias, well, I thank you, Azazel. With these new powers we will have our lover back. Aquino, and we will never let him go again. Generates fire from his body. Iblis, don't forget that you also have to free me, since like you too, I already wish to have Mephiles back. This time we'll be together for life. With a grim smile. Even so, we will see how they will manage to MSTR those strange powers of the Akuma no Mi, and without a doubt, there will be great chaos. When that day arrives. Son Issei, after Ophis was present and arrived with our protagonist, the latter was watching the screen accompanied by the same dragon of infinity along with the Leviathan and the Citri clan to see how Futaro was going with his revenge, until he fulfilled it, since on the screen you could see Futaro himself as well as his prison comrades, Black Cat, Juggernaut, Scorpion and Shocker, destroying the city so much that they only kill the corrupt, people who do not appreciate the life of the people. It was basically Futaro and company taking over the entire city. Issei, I see that Futaro achieved it. Finally that city can be liberated with people who do not value people's lives. that includes that president who does not do his job well at all office. I don't understand why humans are so wild in this current time. Serafall, by nature between the weakest and strongest office. Issei, by the way, office. If so, what happens? Issei, do you know what happened to me with those cheap leaders? Office. At first I didn't know, but after what Great Red told me, I was so angry that I was thinking of going to that place and destroying both the leaders and their territories for having hurt my sweet and future husband. Serafall, excuse me, what about a future husband? Jealous? Sona, yes, what about a future husband? Jealous. Office, how do you hear it? Are you deaf or what? Issei, girls, please don't start another fight. I ask you from the bottom of my heart, with an anime-style drop. Problems with the Issei girls. None other than the Citri clan's pawn, Saji, arrives on the scene, but here the curious thing about him is that he was totally different. His hair that was previously blonde was now dark black and his eyes were black with green pupils, and above all his clothing was simply a black jacket, white gloves, black breathes and black boots, like a true gothic. So his appearance, Issei, I would say that looks at the girls about to fight. A little, tell me, how did it go in string your powers? Saji, great, even so, I always wanted to know how it felt, and this dark power is incredible. Now I understand how you felt when you received them. Issei, thank Mephiles because he was the one who saved me. More than anything he gave me this power of the Black Onyx Emerald to take revenge on that BSTRD who took everything from me. So that everyone wants to know how Saji got his powers, let's go back a few months, after the betrayed also received the power of the Black Onyx Emerald. Flashback in the laboratory of the young green-haired doctor, the betrayed are seen fascinated as they felt an intense dark power in their bodies. Mario, okay, this power I feel is incredible. Luigi, the same thing I say, I feel a gigantic tingling all over my body. Becerra, although it was somewhat painful, still I feel quite strengthened, clenches his fist. Futaro, me too. Mephiles, well, now that you have received your powers, the time has come for you to try to control them. For that Isuku built a large ship where he has a gravity machine that can help you increase both your physical abilities and your own dark powers, and as you should dominate them, thanks to the fact that Isuku is going to send his training badniks. Issei looks at Isuku, that thing about the ship with the gravity machine, you based it on Dragon Ball Z. Isuku? Yes, that's right, and it took me a long time to build it, and with enough space for all of them to train under the intense gravity of the machine along with my training badniks. Mephiles. Well, with everything said, it's time for you to train your dark powers. Isuku, I'll send my badniks to start training. Looks at Orbit and Cubit. Orbit, Cubit, take our guest to the ship outside, since you know where I left it, do you understand? Orbit/Cubit, military saludo, si senor. Then the robot duo takes the betrayed out of the base so that they can train their powers, but then Saji approaches one of the empty capsules where the betrayed were before. They're the same blonde asked himself the question. How did he get there? Would you feel like receiving that power from the Black Onyx Emerald? Until then, Issei approached and spoke to him. Issei, I see you're thinking. Saji, well, a little, but tell me. Issei, was that dark emerald where you received those powers? Issei, exactly, at first it felt a little painful when I touched that gem, but in the end I've gotten used to using it correctly. Hehe. Saji, I see. Issei, what? Do you also want to do a demonstration? Saji, well, Mephiles, don't worry, nothing is going to happen to you. You will feel a tingle in your body, but with a little training, you will get used to it. Saji, I don't know. Momo, come on. Saji-kun, accept. Ruruko, yes, we want to know how it will feel to have those powers of that giant gem. Saji, are you sure? Tsubasa, yes, we all support you. Mephiles, also, remember that I can read your heart, because I see inside you that you really want those powers of my emerald. Saji, sigh. Okay, then maybe having those powers won't hurt, maybe it can be helpful in the future. Isuku, I knew the decision, my friend, now just do the same as the others did, enter one of the capsules and there I will transfer the powers of the Black Onyx Emerald to you. Saji. Okay, from there the scene changes with Saji inside one of the capsules suffering a great electric shock when surrounded by dark purple rays, while both Issei and the others watch seriously, but those who are Saji's small Harem looked worried, since they were afraid that something would happen to their loved one. When time passed, the machine turned off and the capsule opened, generating some smoke. Among the smoke, a silhouette emerged which was the same Saji but with a different appearance. Issei, tell us Saji, how do you feel? Saji, well, I feel different. I feel more strengthened. How do you feel, Vritra? Vritra, I don't feel different, but still, I feel a great power in you. I feel a gigantic dark energy in your entire body. Mephiles, that energy is a part of the black onyx emerald. He still lacks mastery of how to use that power. Serious, Issei, but that doesn't matter. At least Saji could be a lot of help in the future with those new powers along with his Vritra. Saji, I promise you that I will be very useful. After all, you are my great friend and I will never leave you. Issei, of course, friend Gij, and a flashback since they now know the origin of Saji's powers with the black onyx emerald. The latter watched everything that was happening on the huge screen in the cave. Saji, I see that Futaro already fulfilled it. Issei, yes, now we just need to see Becerra and Chisato give what they deserve to that bstrd who took their lives. With Becerra, he along with his beloved had arrived at his native home. They saw that it had not changed at all since the day they had left. Becerra, I see this place has not changed since we left. Chisato, I think the same, love, but the important thing is that we only come to recover what is yours and not that of that bstrd who is not worthy of possessing it. Becerra, you're right, Chisato, I only came to get back what's mine, after I finished off that bstrd who ruined my life, and then we returned to Issei. Chisato, for now you have to find that piece of animal and see how you finish it with your own hands. It was then that they heard a loud noise coming from very far away. Becerra simply felt a presence, or rather, a lot of presence in that place. Becerra, I see that there is no need to search anymore. Apparently something is happening and it is our duty to go see Chisato. Okay. Becerra, you see we have work to do. He flies away. Chisato, well, I'll catch you there through the air. Chisato may not be able to fly like Becerra, but she did learn a technique that makes her able to fly when she jumps and says this word. Chisato, Jepoke, when she said that, she suddenly jumped again, but now in the air. She did it again until she reached the skies by expelling bursts of air that helped her fly, or rather walk through the air as if she were flying, until she was next to Becerra, who flew normally. Chisato, okay, without a doubt the information about these abilities that Isuku is researching is very useful, since I can feel as if I were walking on air. Becerra, we must move forward. Chisato, since it is time for me to take my revenge against that unfortunate man. Chisato, okay Becerra, she said while using her technique by jumping and walking through the air. In the far part, apparently a battle was taking place, as you can see several explosions and magical attacks that destroyed and razed several buildings and houses. And among them were none other than Becerra's ex-lovers fighting against a blonde-haired person who was wearing armor and holding a sword, this being the Brynhildr that originally belonged to Becerra, but was owned by that boy who ruined Becerra's life. This same one, and it was Renzo. But how did they end up like this? I don't know. That Becerra's ex-lovers were supposed to be happy with him and now fight him to the death. Well, to better summarize, this happened after the girls betrayed Becerra, and since then the girls thought that they were finally happy with that handsome blonde, which in the end they were wrong, because it turns out that Renzo was a renegade demon who had the objective of eliminating the same daughter of the former demon king, which was Mionur's. For that he had to pretend to be an ordinary and pretty person to get rid of Becerra, who was in charge of protecting Mio, making the aforementioned herself stand against what I previously called Emsar/brother/lover, and it worked. Plus Mio's new relative was also in charge of taking Brynhildr away from her so that he could have her himself and that Mio would be under his care. It is a pity that everything was wrong, because once he has Brynhildr and the trust of Mio and the other girls, he makes the decision to start his attack against them by calling his group of renegades to kill them. More nothing to tell them that I never loved them, but that my only objective was to eliminate the daughter of the former demon king along with her companions, and apart from that he must have seen their faces and how they easily surrendered to a pretty face like himself. Since then Mio and the others realized their mistake and regretted day and night for what they did to Becerra. Obviously they swore to find a way to apologize to him and fix all the damage they have caused by falling to something very low. It's a shame that that will no longer be possible, because Becerra is no longer the same boy as before, and they will find out that themselves, because at this moment he was on his way with Chisato to take revenge on him for everything they have done to him. Now returning to the main topic, several renegades were fighting against the girls, which were Kurumi and Yuki. They were fighting against the entire group of renegades, while Mio and Maria were fighting against Renzo, who had the advantage, since having the power of Brynhildr, the blonde was practically invincible. Renzo, surrender. Mio, you and the others must die in my hands. Arrogant smile. Mio, never. Going to finish you off for everything you did to Becerra. Annoyed. Renzo, for everything I did to him. Ha ha ha, don't make me laugh. But who were the people who hurt him to the point of almost killing him? Exactly, you. It was you who almost killed Becerra. You should have realized. Of course this made the girls only feel more guilty, since Renzo was right, but still, they did not accept, since he was responsible for them betraying Becerra and they wanted to fix their mistakes. Maria, even so, we will finish you, she says and then throws herself at him. Mio, wait. Maria. Renzo, stupid succubus, you don't know what awaits you, but it's time to show them how to use Brynhildr. And then it was when he activated his Brynhildr more and he began to launch his attacks with the intention of killing them all. With Isuku we see a ship flying through the clouds to an unknown direction. Who was driving it was none other than Isuku Midoriya, or better known as Isuku Evo Robotniks, who was currently piloting it heading to his hometown, the city of Mizudafu. Since I had a matter to attend to Egg Fleet, Isuku, attention everyone, we are getting closer and closer to Mizudafutoga. Great, I'm already looking forward to settling accounts with my old team after what they did to me, while sadistically licking her lips. Lady Nagant, same here, I think it's time to put those villains in their place. Stain, remember that I didn't join you to take down those villains alone. Keep in mind that I have fake heroes to hunt. The same includes that fake All Might. Serious? Isuku? Ho ho ho. Of course you have the free way to do whatever you want. Yes. Don't kill that idiot All Might. The same with those boys who were previously my companions. Just give them a taste of their own medicine. Smiles evilly. Stain. I see that you finally understand me. Serious and with a smile. But you should know that the Society of Heroes is now more rotten than before, and therefore, showing his katana, I am going to try to correct them. Serious? Isuku, I know you will. Stain, you are free to do whatever you want with those pathetic heroes. Melissa, I will also help in the battle. I may be quirkless, but thanks to you, love, I have an ace up my sleeve to fight May. I say the same about me, but I prefer to see combat using our secret weapons against villain number 1 and that BSRD who took your life. Darling. Isuku, haha, that's right, but leave that BS to me. I want to settle accounts with him, thanks to my definitive weapon that I plan to use. Looking on the other hand, making a crazy look, and with that definitive weapon, that idiot he's going to suffer much. Ha 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 ha. Stain, Nagant, May and Melissa simply have an anime-style drop on the back of their neck, because the way the green-haired man acts is as if he were a true villain, except for Toga, who hears her lover laugh like crazy. That's of course. It excited her a lot. Not for nothing, she had the good fortune to have stayed with him. When Isuku, still with his mad doctor's face, looked and then yelled at them. Isuku, everyone, to your positions, we're almost arrived at our destination, where my revenge, wait ha. Thus the Egg Fleet flew faster towards Mizudafu, while Izuku's insane laughter could be heard inside it. Even so, his revenge was slowly approaching, and you will see it later. Son Issei, the latter, was on a hill in the forest in full meditation, since at least he knew that his friends and brothers had already fulfilled their own revenge, although only that of his great friend Isuku Robotnik was missing. Issei trusted that the young doctor of green hair would be good next to his allies and loved ones. Now he was simply sitting there in meditation looking for inner peace, since apart from training his powers and his physical condition, he would also have to train his mind to relax a little, especially that he possessed both his powers dark like Urza next to him, but while he was meditating he ended up being interrupted when his stomach just growled, making him blush because his meditation was interrupted by his stomach. Urza, I think there was a lot of meditation today, mate. Issei, heh? Yes, I think I'm already dying of hunger. It would be better to go inside to prepare the taco that I kept in the fridge. Luckily both Saji and the others haven't eaten it. Urza? I hope so, but it's better that you eat something. There, you continue where you left off. Issei, very good. Then he descended from the air until he flew into the waterfall. At least everything was calm, or so it seemed. When Issei entered the waterfall, he did not realize that someone hidden in the bushes had observed everything, and fortunately for the one who was hiding, Issei did not notice his presence. But at least you now have the information you wanted, so that's where Issei-sama is. I have to tell Azazel-sama about the location where he lives, and I imagine that yokai and the traitor demon is there too. At least it's a good fortune that he didn't notice me. Presence, otherwise he would already be dead if he sees me or notices me. Then said being that was hidden in the bushes began to retreat, since at least he managed to find the location of Issei and the others, since without a doubt everything is going to get out of control when the traitors make their move later. Returning inside the base, Issei is seen walking down the hallway with his taco in hand, and he begins to eat it while heading to his room. When he arrives, the first thing he does is open the door, only to realize that his room was very dark, which left him somewhat confused. Issei, that's weird, this should be on. When he turns on the lights through a switch, which was on one of the walls, inside his room, he did not realize that someone was behind him, only for the ex-chestnut to hear it clicked that the safety lock the door had been activated. Issei flinched as he turned around only to find a very unexpected surprise. Hello Issei-chan, I'm sorry that I entered your room without thinking. What Issei saw was Serafall, which Issei did not expect, but suddenly his cheeks turned red, and at the same time he dropped the cue and fell to the ground, because he had a stupid face when he looked carefully at Serafall. The Leviathan, and it turns out that she was wearing a red maid costume, which makes Issei feel very red when he sees the black-haired girl with pigtails wearing those clothes. Issei, Serafall, why are you dressed like that? Nervous and blushing, Serafall, well, adjusting her hair, I wanted to impress you, since I was training so much, you deserved a good rest, so I'm wearing these clothes, ready to serve you. Tell me, do you like it? Doing various poses, Issei, and is interrupted, Serafall, sad, you don't like it, do? Issei, no, of course I like it, I just didn't expect you to wear those clothes. His face is still red, Serafall, it's so I can give you the best surprise of your life, and also, she approached him looking at him attractively, I wanted to at least give you the best session that you deserve now that I'm your personal maid. Issei, very blushing and nervous, Serafall, but well, tell me what can I do for you, great? Getting into character, Issei, well, I would like a massage session on my back, please, he says playing along. Serafall, GG right away, but first I have to take this off of you so I can start, he says to take off his shirt. Then Issei lay face down on the bed, and then watched as Serafall began to give him a nice massage to make Issei relax his body, and to tell the truth, it was working. Issei, oh, how relaxing it feels. Serafall, you emissar accumulated a lot of stress during your training, therefore you deserved this massage to relax your body tensions. Issei, you're right, at least this is more relaxing besides meditation. But the massage became more frequent. When Serafall got a little closer, where the former brunette could feel two very soft things with fine fabric rubbing his back, which made him turn red. It turns out that apart from the fact that the Leviathan was massaging her sword with her hands, she could feel nothing more nor less than the great attributes of the black-haired girl with pigtails. Serafall, tell me, great Himsu, do you like me to also pass my attributes on your back? She says as she brought her BRSTs closer together on Issei's back. Issei, why's? I like it. You do it well, blushing. Serafall, giggle, thanks for the compliment, Mr. Is there anything else you want me to do after your massage ended? Issei, the truth is. Turns around and I look at her, I want good service from the best maid in the world, of course. You know what I mean, blushing. Serafall, the truth is I was just thinking about that, and the truth is, she gets on top of him to look him straight in the eyes. I wanted to wait for this moment even though my love for you was early, stilts. I've been wanting to do this with you for a long time, mischievous and flirtatious look. In another city in Japan we are now going to the city, Izuku's former home, the city of Mizudafu, where it could have been partially destroyed. How did it happen like this? Well, it turns out that at this moment another of the wars between the heroes and villains was happening, but in this case, the villains began to take over the battle, thanks to a specific guest, or rather an infiltrator, who achieved his goal to win the battle against the heroes. I see that now without that head of broccoli, they are practically losing ground now. The one who spoke turned out to be the person who ruined the life of our green-haired friend. It was none other than Tadashi, If that boy who ruined the life of the young green-haired man when he arrived at the Hero Academy, now he was seen last using the One for All or the OFA against those from the U. An academy, in this case with the former classmates and what is supposedly Izuku's ex-girlfriend, where not only was he, but also the League of Villains were also present. How did it happen? To summarize, it turned out that after Izuku was cast aside, betrayed by the heroes, especially those he once saw as friends and girlfriend, they were calm, knowing that Tadashi would be the noon symbol of peace in the future. Thanks to what he ended up inheriting the OFA that the number one hero All Mights took from Izuku, at least they knew they would have a new future hero who would defend the world. Unfortunately, everything ended up being a farce, because it turns out that after Tadashi got what he wanted, he began to rebel against All Might and the others, and above all he was part of the League of Villains, who wanted to get rid of Izuku. From the beginning, and now that he was gone, Tadashi revealed what he really is, that he would never become a pathetic hero and would never save the world, because all he wants is to destroy people who are worthless, weak people, class people come down, things like that. Both All Might and Izuku's other classmates, after discovering such deception by Tadashi, began to regret what they had done. All of Izuku's former classmates, including his only girlfriend Ochako Uraraka, feel miserable at the same time. To be fooled so easily, heroes nowadays began to be dumber. No, wait, in fact they are just as dumb as usual because Stain himself said so. The society of heroes was no longer like what he described. Now there have begun to be false heroes, heroes who do not value the lives of others. They care more about fame and money than human life. But what does that have to do with Tadashi and Izuku's traitors? Well, you see, at that time, since Izuku had left the U, there began to be false heroes who only save people for money. Weak people who find themselves in a mess don't even care about them and simply abandon them, as if they were insects. But those who suffer the worst are the quirkless, who are treated worse than scum, and sometimes take their own lives for being rejected by the society of heroes. Even when they are in trouble with a villain, one of the quirkless tried to ask for help from one of the professional heroes. However, these false heroes don't even bother to help them, because those villains are not a major threat, and they let them die. But that's not the worst thing about them. Quirkless, but there are cases of people who are born with stronger and more dangerous quirks than that of professional heroes and villains. But as we know, professional heroes, instead of training subjects with dangerous quirks or at least string them perfection, they choose another idea of ending the lives of those people with dangerous quirks, since they consider them a threat or a villain who would destroy the entire world, instead of following their hero code, which is not killing. Unfortunately, these false ones heroes didn't care about that code, and they end the lives of women, men, even children with dangerous quirks because they consider them a threat to them. Without a doubt, as Stain himself described in the previous chapter, the society of heroes is more rotten than before. They no longer follow their code of no killing. They let quirkless people die at the hands of a villain who they are not considered world threats. Thanks to that, the villains began to increase their crime wave. There were more killings with good people. Everything that happened in Mustafa was equal to or much worse than the city where Futaro Yusuji lives, a city of much violence, many deaths, many robberies, etc. But what happens now would only be the beginning of the end of not only the villains, but also the heroes themselves. And you'll see why. Returning to the main topic, all the professional heroes, All Might and Izuku's ex-colleagues and ex-girlfriend begin to have a tough battle against the villains, who took over the city of Muzutafu. All for one. What's happening, All Might? Where were the forces you once had? Mocking, All Might, you're not going to get away with this, All for One. Furious while attacking with a punch, All for One stops his fist, which upon colliding, creates a large air current that destroys a building that the villain had when he stopped the fist. Tadashi, what's wrong, you bunch of pathetic heroes? You haven't even managed to tickle me. Bakugo, Demon Beastie, you will pay me for it. Furious, Uraraka, I thought we had something special, but you fooled me. You'll see what Dekukuin will do when he comes back and gives you what you deserve. Annoyed, Tadashi, haha, really? And where is it? Is that head of broccoli going to help them when they are in serious trouble? Haha, don't wait, it's true. Even if you don't believe it, they were responsible for me not being here, and therefore, you are to blame for falling so hard, for letting yourself be carried away by my words. Haha, Uraraka just feels bad. It was true. because both she and the others, Isuku, were no longer there because of themselves. Tadashi, but enough of the games, I better put an end to all of you quickly. He begins to float due to a tornado of air that makes him levitate into the air. How can that guy fly in the air? Easy, Tadashi had a quirk that had the ability to generate wind. That's why that quirk he has the ability to generate air. He even uses it to levitate in the air, and now using his quirk combining it with the OFA, he prepares to attack by creating a large green tornado. Thanks to the OFA that he now possesses, the UH sees these students, the heroes and All Might, since this was a bad sign, if that attack hits them squarely. Mina, oh no, that tornado is going to destroy us alts. Scared, All Might, young Tadashi, don't do it? Exclaimed the blonde hero, Shigaraki. Ha 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 ha, that's excellent Tadashi, what are you waiting for? I'll finish those brats once and for all. Tadashi, I will. It's time for you to say hello to Izuku Midoriya for me once I kill you. Of course, if he feels happy to see you again after you did him, ha. Laughs psychotically. The other students tried to do something, but due to the force of the tornado they could not get even an inch closer to Tadashi, when he said the following: Tadashi, see you never, miserable heroes. Sadistic smile, while the green tornado grows bigger, destroying a large part of the buildings, and the civilians who were around were doing their best to hold on to something and not be carried into that tornado. The heroes used their quirks to prevent the civilians from being victims of that tornado. Attack. The villains did not care that innocents died from that tornado, and Izuku's traitors simply saw that they could not do anything against that attack, and could only accept their fate. Uraraka. Dekakuin. P. Forgive me. For everything, crying, accepting her fate. Izuku's former classmates were the same, but those who were in tears were three girls who, just so you don't know, the three of them did not betray the green-haired boy. Those words Momo Yaoyorozu, Kyoka Jiro, and Tsu Ajui, the three of them were the only ones who did not betray Midoriya after that fake video, because when it happened that day where the heroes turned their backs on him, they pretended to attack him, when deep down they were broke her heart by attacking the only boy who stole their hearts. Yes, although it may not seem like it, the three of them also felt something for Izuku, since he did everything for them. He even solved their own problems when I needed them the most. From there they began to have feelings for the green-haired boy before the brunette Uraraka beat them to the punch and became an official girlfriend, before leaving him aside with Tadashi. Of course they were not the only ones who did not betray Izuku, since the only boy who did not betray Izuku was none other than Shoto Todoroki, since despite the problems that happened, he was also the only one who did not betray Izuku. Betrayed him, because he was still indebted to him for helping him accept himself about using his fire quirk, and that he would not use that power again like the pathetic traitor of his father Endeavor, but he would use it to protect people in need. And yet, he curses having to use both his fire and ice on the only one who saw him as a true friend and hoped to see him again. When Tadashi was about to launch that gigantic green tornado about to wipe out the others, Byako Kogetsu, suddenly a cutting attack that resembles a crescent moon arc appears out of nowhere, hitting Tadashi squarely, making his green tornado disappear, and he is sent flying until he crashes into a destroyed building. The League of Villains. The heroes, including traitors, are shocked by what they have seen. Shigaraki. What the hell happened? Shocked, all for one. I didn't see that attack coming. Who generated it? Surprised, Mineta. But who the hell did that? Mina, look, something is in the sky. Everyone looks up and the only thing they can see is a ship that we all already know, accompanied by several flying metallic objects, which were nothing less than egg-shaped robots created by none other than Izuku Robotnik himself. That's because we see as the egg fleet itself comes descending from the clouds along with its robots and badniks accompanied and Mustafa. Everyone is shocked to see the person who of course appeared to be dead, riding in his egg mobile, and besides he was not alone. He was accompanied by none other than Lady Nagant, Stain, Melissa, Cammy, May, and of course the Himiko Toga herself, to the surprise of the League of Villains, who cannot believe that the person they kicked out of the league was with Izuku, who was wearing something very formal. All Might, young Midoriya. Is that really? Surprised and shocked, Izuku, who else could it be? Pathetic cheap copy of Johnny Bravo, serious? Obviously, All Might, upon hearing the green-haired man's tone of voice, simply lowers his head since he still remembers what he did to him in the past when he called him a traitor and completely turned his back on him. Shigaraki, annoyed, how are you still alive? And on top of that, Toga, why the hell are you with him? Toga, serious? Apparently you are still the same stupid Tamura. You know why I am with him, because I love him a lot and you only want to destroy something that I really love, and also after what happened to Twice you blamed me that I was the cause of his death, when in reality, it was the fault of these pathetic heroes who were not supposed to break the rule of don't kill the villain. Apparently I see that they didn't even bother to follow that one rule. It is because that's why I'm not even joking about returning to your team of losers, plus a guy with little hands with the attitude of a tantrumful child. Shigaraki, what did you say? Regret what you said, angry? Toga, what if I don't want? Challenging him, Shigaraki, if you don't, I'll kill you like I should have done a long time ago since you were still with us, threatening her. Toga, try it, if you dare, challenging look which makes the blue-haired man angrier. For the other traders, who were unaware of Toga and Shigaraki discussions, they feel shocked but at the same time happy that Izuku has returned and with a new look. More than Uraraka herself, she feels happy and with tears from her eyes she wanted run to hug him when he saw him alive again. Uraraka, happy and with tears, Dekun. It's you, it's good that you're alive. He approached the egg mobile a little with the intention of hugging him as a sign of happiness. This clearly upset the green-haired boy since he still had the nerve to approach him with the intention of hugging him as if nothing would happen. However, Toga looked at this, ignore his argument with Shigaraki, having a gloomy face when he saw Uraraka approaching them. Who did the following? Toga. Saru, the blonde assassin, instantly disappears and then appears in front of the brunette, who did not even notice her arrival and then prepared her index finger. Toga. Shurgon, and then he stuck his index finger into Uraraka's shoulder, leaving a hole in that area, as if it were a bullet from a gun. Uraraka, feeling her shoulder pierced, screamed in great pain. Something like that? Uraraka screams in pain. Mina, Ochakoch. Ida, Urarakats. Worried, All Might, young Uraraka. Concerned, Izuku. Just smiles when seeing that scene. Everyone, shocked to see what happened. After such an act, Toga removed her index finger on the shoulder of the brunette who only grabbed that area from that simple attack, but felt as if she had really been shot with a gun. Then Toga returned to Izuku and the others when he said the word Jeppo, and suddenly jumped high when he was propelled by a current of air from his feet and then landed behind Izuku, who only turned around with a smile of pride for what Toga had done. Izuku, you did a good job, honey, at least you made that beach not even come close to me. Toga simply smiles while showing her finger that was stained with BLD, and she has a taste for BLD. She just liked her finger like the crazy person she is. The others, except those who did not betray Izuku, help Uraraka, who was only holding on to her right arm that was still bleeding from where Toga had attacked her. Ida, Uraraka, are you okay? Concerned, Uraraka, arg. Please. Fine, don't worry, her arm hurts. Sato, but what was that? That crazy woman pierced one of her fingers, I ask. Kaminari, yeah, and he didn't even take out one of his knives to stab you. That's weird. Mineta, but also, you saw how she moved, we couldn't even see her. Is she some alien or something? Surprised, Toru, I don't have the slightest idea how she moved so fast. Confused and surprised, the invisible girl. Tokoyami, Midoriya, why did you let that crazy woman attack Uraraka? Don't worry about her. The crow face exclaimed. Am I worried? Why the hell would I care about a dumb slut like her after she got involved with that BSTRD over there? Pointing at Tadashi who was approaching. Tadashi, you idiot, I can't believe you're still alive. How did you come to attack me like that? What kind of quirk was that? Angry, Izuku, ha ha ha, what an idiot. What if I told you about that attack? Didn't I, Tadashi? What? That you didn't cause. Then who am I? Ranyakuch. He did not finish speaking as another sharp arc-shaped blast hits him squarely again, drawing BLD from his mouth, and then sends him flying against a building until he sees him crash into it, again leaving everyone surprised when they see the main person responsible for attacking Tadashi again when he was talking to Izuku Bakugo. What the F has that quirkless done? What kind of trick was that? In shock, Kirishima, was what he used a quirk. But she was supposed to be diagnosed that she didn't even have a quirk, surprised and shocked. Spinner, but what kind of quirk was that coming out of one of his legs? All for one. Interesting, he used his quirk to send Tadashi flying. He asked me what kind of quirk did that blonde girl use. So that everyone is left wondering who they were talking to, well, there is the answer. When Melissa's leg is seen releasing small fumes, since she is the main person responsible for launching said attack and apparently, she was the first to attack Tadashi who managed to cancel the attack from a few moments ago that he tried to make Isuku. Excellent attack, my love Melissa. Fufu, thank you darling, kisses him. All Might. Melissa, what kind of quirk have you done? Is interrupted. Melissa, you better not even talk to me, All Might, because I can't believe that my own uncle paid attention to a stupid video that in the life of his student. You are just a poor ignorant man. Dad, if he were still alive, he would be very disappointed in you. Serious? All Might. Melissa, sad. Melissa, and regarding what I did for a few moments, what I used wasn't a quirk, and although it wasn't believe it, what Toga did wasn't a quirk either. Serious? Traitors. What? Surprised, all for one. I think it's a lie. What that traitor and the other one did were new quirks that awakened Shigaraki. Yes, maybe they must be new quirks capable of having great strength. Toru, but if they didn't use a quirk, what did they use? Uraraka, I don't know but, groan, arg, when Toga stuck one of her fingers in my arm. I felt like I was shot with a firearm. Bakugo, what did you say, round face? That's bragging that that crazy woman has a gun on her finger, any more than that girl who supposedly was quirkless wouldn't have one. That's impossible. They're just cheap tricks. Serious? Izuku? Oh, but I see that you are ignorant as always, Kaken, or rather, bomb with legs. Mocking. Bakugo, what did you say? Retract what you said, useless. Angry. Izuku? Now he's angry. That's typical of this bomb with legs. He gets angry easily over a simple insult. You're a perfect idiot, you miserable Muslim. Mocking. Bakugo, if you don't shut up, I'll shut you up myself. Angry. Izuku, try it, you don't scare me, you bomb with legs. Then Bakugo, out of pure courage, prepared his explosions with the intention of shutting up the green-haired boy for insulting him. Kaminari, Bakugo is spera. All Might, wait young Bakugo. Before Bakugo does anything against the green-haired boy, he is suddenly hit in the face. In slow motion you could see how the blow blew out 5 of his teeth. When the camera is set to normal speed, Bakugo is sent flying against a building. Wherever he was, he had some BLD in his mouth from the teeth he lost, but his eyes were blank, implying that he was unconscious, while several pieces of debris fell almost without hitting him. Kirishima. Bakugo. Worried. Don't even touch my creator, you bomb with legs, said voice that terrifies you from the front. Ojiro, who is that robot? Drawing the attention of those present, who was responsible for attacking Bakugo, who was a robot with the appearance of an anthropomorphic hedgehog, with black eyes with red and black pupils. Metal Sonic, Izuku, well blow, Metal Sonic'd with such. He deserved it since that was because of the abuse since he was a child. Jiro, who is that robot Midoriya? Izuku, this, my dear Jiro, is my most recent creation, the all-powerful Metal Sonic, which I made with my hands with the intention of fulfilling my revenge. All for one. Interesting, several robots that you have created, you would be worthy of joining the League of Villains Izuku? Ha ha ha. Oh, what a joke. Do you really think that I will join your pathetic league just because my beloved Yoga and Metal Sonic will attack those traitors? Well, you are wrong because even if you don't believe it, I have unfinished business, both with you like that BSTRD over there when he says that. He suddenly sees how the building where Tadashi had crashed is destroyed with his wind quirk, where he is shown going into anger, since this was the second time he was attacked in that way. Tadashi, furious, damn it, I swear I will not forgive them, I will kill them all. Izuku, it seems that the party has already started. Metal Sonic. Take care of him, but don't kill him yet, you will only do so when he finishes with these villainous BSTRDs. Metal Sonic. At your order, doctor. He goes towards Tadashi. Izuku? Oh yes, what were we doing? I still refuse your proposal to join your pathetic league, because you yourselves will die here and right now. Evil smile. All for one. Ha ha. Well, I want to see you try. Villains, attack. All the villains pay attention and go on the attack. Isuku, my creations, I want you to show these insects that intelligence can do anything, attacks. Raising arms in the air, saying that. Izuku's creations launch themselves against the villains ready to fight. Isuku, Stain, Lady Nagant. You already know what to do with these heroes, I give you my permission to do with them whatever you want. Stain and Nagant pay attention and then see how they get off the egg mobile by saying the word Jeppo, where they see them walking through the air. The heroes see this while protecting the civilians. Then Nagant took out his arm rifle and then shot one of the heroes in the head, killing him instantly, leaving the other heroes and the traitors in shock, but 3 of the heroes saw one die. Of their own at the hands of the purple-haired girl, they get angry. Hero 1, Demon. Furious, Hero 2, that demon killer will pay me for it. Furious, Hero 3, he's going to pay for this. Furious, the 3 heroes with a sword, fire, tentacle quirk were about to react, when Stain is then seen plummeting with the help of his mid-air walk and appears behind them at high speed. Afterwards, Stain moved quickly past them with his sword. Once what happened to them, they saw how the torso of the 3 heroes were brutally cut, a large amount of BLD was present, where they fell to the ground. Ground totally dead and lifeless for the heroes like the traitors. They saw Isuku and wondered why he let 2 assassins mercilessly kill those heroes. Endeavor, brat, why did you ally with the killer and the killer of heroes? We cared about you just so that in the end you'd ally with those 2 villains. Furious, Isuku, serious, those heroes don't deserve to live, much less someone like you, Endeavor. Lady, but killing is not the way, making an alliance with a villain is a crime. Isuku, don't tell me what to do, miss, I show my appealing but to people, since after all, they branded me a traitor. All heroes deserve to disappear from existence. In the meantime, resolve this with my 2 allies, because I have unfinished business with those unfortunates. He leaves the egg mobile, All Might, young Midoriya, why? Why did you ally yourself with those 2 murderers? Sad, Kamui Woods, then we will reprimand that brat, we have to stop those 2 assassins who attacked the heroes. Mirko, look at the Yuye. You students stay here, we are going to take care of those 2 villains. He leaves. Metal Sonic, he stands face to face against Tadashi with the intention of fighting, while the latter was recovering from the damage that Melissa had given him with that attack. Metal Sonic, Tadashi, boy who ruined my creator's life, prepare to receive a place called the Land of Pain. Tadashi, you think that a piece of junk that idiot created is going to beat me? Don't make me laugh, I have a wind quirk and more than anything, I have one for all that has made me invincible, you have no chance against me. Tin Robot, arrogant smile. Metal Sonic, believe me, that arrogance will lead you to defeat Tadashi without wasting time. Activated the one for all, full cowl 20%. Then he launched himself at high speed against Metal Sonic to try to hit him, who evaded his fist without any problem. Tadashi tried with another punch, but again Metal Sonic dodges, tries a flying kick, however Metal Sonic caught his leg without any effort and then threw him as if he were an old rag. Tadashi manages to get back up, and then launch a wind attack towards Metal Sonic, the which he evades while watching his attack destroy another building until he sees it collapse. Metal Sonic moves quickly, appearing behind Tadashi, hitting him with a kick in the back that sends him flying. Tadashi makes some turns while grabbing the area where the metal attacked him, which bothered him a lot. Metal Sonic, is that all you know how to do? Tadashi, TMN piece of junk, that's nothing. Annoyed, he returns to the attack. With Isuku he stands face to face against All for One and the League of Villains, alone since Toga, Mei, Melissa and Cammy were dealing with the other villains. Isuku, I've been waiting a long time to settle accounts with you Demen ones. Shigaraki, ha 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 ha, and what are you going to do about it being so defenseless? You no longer have a quirk, so you have no chance against us, since all your machines are busy with our army of villains. Arrogant smile. Isuku, ho 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 ho, ha, laugh if you want, little hands, but you know that I have another creation that will take care of you, while I take care of your leader. Get out of there. Omega. When shouting in Izuku's ship, someone is seen landing violently in front of the League of Villains, generating a curtain of dust. Dabi, now what? Who came this time? Then when the dust begins to dissipate, you see a large robot, red, black, with a yellow tone, red eyes and a logo that had on one of its metallic shoulders. Omega. It was Izuku's own creation that had appeared, with the name Omegan ready to join the battle. Omega. I am here, my creator, tell me, who do I have the right to attack? Izuku. I want you to take care of the villain league, while I take care of their leader. Omega. Understood, looks at the league. You prepare yourselves that your opponent will be me, Shigaraki? It's just a piece of tin, we can handle it all for one. You go against that robot while I take care of the brat, although I know perfectly well that I already won this fight, Izuku. Do you say that you won the fight? Please keep in mind my words, intelligence far exceeds raw power, and I will prove to you that. I'm not playing. Suddenly something came out in the ship, which began to land little by little until Izuku flew higher than his eggmobile, while he was seen laughing like a madman. Then he saw how Izuku entered that strange machine. As he did so, he landed in front of it. Of them in an imposing manner by creating a large curtain of air. When he landed heavily from there, we can see carefully that now Izuku was in said robot, which was very large, where a pilot could fit, since the green-haired doctor would demonstrate to everyone that intelligence can do everything. Egg beater. Izuku, robot voice, what do you think of all for one? With this robot it will be more than enough to tear you to pieces all for one. I want to see you try. League of Villains attacks. Izuku, Omega, Atticus. Both sides launched themselves against each other, since a battle for the green-haired man's revenge was about to begin. And Kyoto, however, said battle and revenge is interrupted again, when we focus on a temple, located in the place that is nothing more nor less than Kyoto, territory of the yokai leader, Yasaka, but she was not alone, since she brought the prism with Iblis the flame floating, because as Iblis herself mentioned, if they wanted to find a way to get their men back, Iblis wanted to resort to one thing. That the truth is, Yasaka had forbidden her from doing something like that. That means taking the lives of innocent people. But if they wanted to recover both Issei and Mephiles, they had to make sacrifices. Now we see them go deeper into the temple when they open the last door. Iblis. There it is. Where did you still have it stored all this time when Mephiles sealed me in this pyramid, right, Yasaka? I would be, Yasaka. I was thinking about getting rid of her, but I decided it was better to keep her with me so that she wouldn't fall into the wrong hands of the enemies. Iblis. Well, but I see that you have no choice but to let me do it once you have the black onyx emerald to free me. Yasaka, if it's to get my future husband back, I'll do it. Iblis. Excellent. For now we must start with the first phase of the plan so that they can obtain the black onyx emerald, and thus, I will enter to use this and plant it in a place where there will be people who both that boy Issei, Mephiles and the others, they will have no choice but to help them, and so, boom, we attack and we will have our husbands back. Yasaka? Yes, you know how to start a good plan, but you have to make sure everything goes well to the letter. Iblis. Don't worry, first we must look for some good allies to join our cause, give them those fruit powers that fallen leader brought, and of course, you and the others, you already know what to do when you already have the emerald in his hands. Yasaka. Okay, for now, we just have to wait for the girls to finish training and like that. Let's act so that you can plant that golden apple in the ground. Iblis. Evil smile. You trust me, that everything will turn out well as we planned, they won't know who hit them. Meanwhile, that object they were looking for was a simple golden apple. But it is not just any apple. That apple you see below would be the trump card for the traitors. Once Issei and the others will have no choice but to defend the lives of those beings who will be in danger, since this will be much worse than the invasion of Trihexa itself. Once that golden apple is planted, and everything will get worse, that the traitors will try to fix. And Mustafa, at this moment a battle begins to occur between Izuku's badniks against the villains along with the League. It was a free-for-all, but it is better to focus on all the battles, each one, to see who will win. Metal Sonic versus Tadashi. These two could be seen fighting incessantly, Tadashi creating several whirlwinds of air combined with the OFA at 40% of his power. Metal Sonic simply moves quickly, dodging those attacks that cause destruction. There is no way he would allow himself to be defeated with that power anymore. Pathetic of all, the robot's point of view was made. When he was there, he took a rock and threw it at Tadashi. The aforementioned used his great strength with the OFA and destroyed it with a kick, while blocking it with his arm, a punch courtesy of Metal Sonic. who had already come to the attack when he threw that rock as a distraction, Metal Sonic launches 2 flying kicks. Tadashi crouches down and then places his 2 hands on the ground and gives Metal a double kick that knocks him away. Sends into the air, then he took a big leap to give him another kick with the strength of his OFA Tadashi. St. Louis smash. It hits Metal Sonic squarely in the face, and the latter plummets to the ground, but Metal Sonic immediately gets back up, spinning backwards in the air and landing on his feet, then launching himself again at Tadashi, who was in the air, which uses its arms in the shape of an X, because Metal Sonic attacks it violently with its head, hitting it at great speed with its foot thrusters, and they fly against another building, completely destroying it. From there they continue flying, but Tadashi, tired of being dragged in the air, hits Metal Sonic with a hammer blow to make him leave him. The robot falls back to the ground, in which Tadashi creates more of his air and sends Metal Sonic flying very far away and seeing him as crashed into one of the buildings. Then Tadashi lands like a feather on the ground and starts mocking that robot didn't last at all. Tadashi, that junk robot with the head of broccoli, didn't last at all. There's no doubt he was just a useless robot. Is that what you think? Suddenly the building where Metal crashed is destroyed into 1,000 pieces with a great roar, as the robot rushed at high speed against Tadashi, who did not notice its arrival, and then you can see how Tadashi backed away aggressively until he fell against another house without destroying it. Since Metal Sonic had headbutt him from a distance, Tadashi was simply there leaning against the wall of the house all dazed, when suddenly his eyes managed to see a strange red paint that came down from his eyes, when we then realized that his forehead was bleeding, since the headbutt that had hit him was so strong that if it were not for his resistance, he could have died. Although to be clearer, Metal Sonic refrained from killing him, since it was his creator's orders. That was why he managed to contain his headbutt, but even so Tadashi felt it. He touched his forehead to look at his hand with his own BLD, which began to make him very angry. Metal Sonic, you're lucky I didn't kill you, since I have orders from the doctor not to kill you. Tadashi, angry, in piece of junk, I swear I won't forgive you. 1 for all, 50%. He further increased the power of the OFA. After that, he extended his hand, creating a pulse of his wind quirk, generating a large gust of wind, which completely destroyed several houses and buildings. Metal Sonic, on the other hand, simply resisted to that attack and not be sent flying. Tadashi runs at high speed to throw a punch, which Metal Sonic catches with one hand. Tadashi tried with the other fist, but Metal Sonic caught it with his other metallic hand, starting a duel of strength. While they looked face to face, Tadashi saw the robot with anger and wanted to finish it once and for all. Metal Sonic, on the other hand, did not present any emotion. He was just himself with his typical serious and cold expression, because after all he was a machine created by Isuku, who did not present any human emotion. For 30 seconds this duel of strength lasted. Tadashi tried to kick him with his 2 feet, hitting the robot all over the face, who did not even move from the spot. So Tadashi released his hands, metal hands, for then give him another kick with more force. But for Metal Sonic, he simply received it, and it seemed as if his blows did not affect him, to which Tadashi retreats and fires another blast of his wind, which managed to send Metal Sonic flying. Then Tadashi runs to try to reach Metal Sonic, who was still in the air. When he succeeds, he places himself below him, takes a big jump with the help of the OFA, and gives a powerful blow to Metal Sonic's stomach, whoever is flying towards the air. Tadashi, seeing Metal Sonic higher up in the sky, begins to create a wind tornado combining OFA and then launches it in the direction of Metal, who again receives it fully to be sent further into the air. Tadashi simply saw Metal Sonic in the air, thinking that finally beat him, but suddenly, Metal Sonic disappears from Tadashi's sight, who is confused as to where he has gone. Tadashi, where did that piece of I wish to go? Metal Sonic, behind him, here I am. When he turns around, Tadashi is violently grabbed by his hair. From there, Metal Sonic attacks him with a blow to the stomach, causing Tadashi to gasp for some air, accompanied by a drop of BLD coming out of his mouth. But it was not enough. Metal Sonic hit him. He delivers another stronger punch to his stomach, which leaves Tadashi gasping for air, and then Metal releases him and he himself falls to the ground like a sack of potatoes, while clutching his stomach due to the pain he has from the blows. What you have received from the robot Metal Sonic? Trash. I don't understand why you have the power that once belonged to my Isuku. The OFA doesn't deserve to be used by a life ruiner like you. Tadashi, Cisalet. I swear I destroy, angry and out of breath. Metal. Sonic. Try it, we've been fighting for a few minutes and yet, you haven't even managed to make me a single scratch. Since when this fight started, I acted on par with you, when you know you have no chance of winning. Tadashi, shut up. Gets up with difficulty? I told you that I won't lose to a junk robot like you. One for all at 80%. When he did, Tadashi's hair stood up, but his muscles increased quite a bit and the green rays spread out in a very violent way, while his eyes glowed an intense green color. Tadashi simply smiled arrogantly from as far as he could reach. His power, without risking his body exploding because he is not using 100% of his power because he would not know the consequences if he uses that power limit. Tadashi. Ha 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 ha, what do you think, ha piece of junk? Now I have reached a maximum limit thanks to the quirk that silly peace symbol gave me. Now with this level it will be enough to tear you to pieces. Arrogant, Metal Sonic? Close his eyes. How pathetic. If you think you can beat me with that level of power, I want to see you try, but I want to know how long do you plan to last using that limit. Tadashi, you're just jealous of my powers. Then Tadashi moved at the speed of light in front, as his speed had increased, while Metal Sonic had to stop a strong punch from him. With some difficulty, however, the robot stopped him with so much effort, while the impact of that blow was so great that a large burst of air was generated behind Metal Sonic that destroyed another building. But even so, the robot managed to stop the blow and then begin to say the following: Metal Sonic, do you think I need your power? Then, having grabbed his fist, Metal Sonic delivers another punch to his stomach, causing Tadashi to spit saliva and jump back while clutching his stomach in some pain, which makes him very upset. Tadashi, furious, DDMN. Ignoring the pain, he launched himself at Metal Sonic to launch a rain of blows. Metal Sonic does the same, thus beginning a rapid clash of fists between one and the other. Isuku versus FO. Now we will go into the fight with the green-haired doctor who was inside his mecha called Egg Beater, who was fighting face-to-face against Japan's #1 villain, who had launched himself to attack him when AFO punches the mecha who used one of his shields to counter his blow. AFO is surprised that his blow did not move even a single centimeter to Izuku's mecha due to the shield and resistance of the giant robot created by him. Green hair Izuku, inside the robot, ha ha ha, how are you? Not even with that blow you launched, you have managed to move my mecha even a single centimeter, because I managed to compile all your information to build this robot that is capable of counteracting your attacks, so it will be difficult for you to try to destroy it. All for one. Don't think that robot is going to be able to beat me. I congratulate you for creating an excellent machine, but unfortunately this will have to end. You should have accepted my offer to join me, but it's a shame that it has to end with you, Izuku, and I told you that I refuse to join a being as insignificant as you and your clown circus. It is time to show you that intelligence can do everything. Mecha then throws a punch that AFO was able to withstand by covering himself with his arms, but he is also dragged about 10 meters on his back, but remains standing. From there he uses his quirk, by inflating his arm to launch a gust of wind that shudders the place. Izuku's mecha managed to withstand such a violent attack thanks to its shields. Then the mecha takes out some missiles from its two shoulders that were ready to fire. Izuku, eat my missiles. Several missiles were fired at the robot. AFO uses his attacks. Whoever is last uses another of his quirks, which are strange black stalactites with red stripes, which destroy all the missiles. Then AFO is seen moving away since there were 5 missiles chasing them, but then he evades 3 of them and destroys 2 with his statistics and destroys the last 3 with that air shot from his right arm. After destroying the missiles, AFO jumps to evade a laser beam fired at the mecha's palms. Then the mecha continues walking while firing more and more of his repulsor rays from his palms. AFO just started moving all over the place, accompanied by many explosions. Yet AFO just kept dodging without concern, but what he did not know is that on the other hand of the mecha, he was dragging a chain in which a demolition sphere accompanied him, waiting for the right moment to attack. AFO kept dodging the shots, and when he dodged another one he spoke to Izuku. All for one. I can dodge those attacks even with my eyes closed, child, confident. However, the mecha fires a larger laser beam from its hand, creating a larger explosion, while AFO is seen jumping out of there. But what I didn't count on is that Isuku looked with a sadistic smile from the mirror. The robot's head when it saw AFO at the exact point Isuku, it was obvious that you would jump. Now receive this when AFO was about to attack again with his combined quirk, a wrecking steel ball appears above him and hits him squarely, sending him violently to the ground, creating a crater. It turns out that it was the green-haired man's mecha who had a chain attached to him. A wrecking ball with dark brown with light brown, like the first Sonic game where it has that wrecking ball. Once Izuku sees AFO lying on the ground, he gets up with some difficulty due to the blow he received. Even so, the man in the mask did not give up so easily, but that blow had hurt him. All for one. That hurt me, that blow wasn't bad at all, annoying. Izuku, ho ho ho, and you haven't seen anything out missiles? The mecha fired more and more missiles, AFO as best he could had to dodge them with a big jump when they explode downwards, creating a lot of smoke and fire. The mecha takes a big jump in the direction of the villain to throw a punch, who AFO responds with a wind attack, and both attacks collide with each other, creating a large gust of wind, further destroying the entire city that had already been found in ruins due to the great fight that is taking place everywhere. The civilians who were being helped by almost the majority of heroes fly away, that includes the rest of the heroes and villains, who cannot believe the magnitude of power that Izuku and AFO's giant robot were giving with the traitors. We see the entire Class 1A watching each battle for each part of the city in pieces. They paid attention to the fight that was taking place between Izuku's mecha and AFO, while Kirishima carried an unconscious Bakugu with a bloody forehead due to the blow he received from Metal Sonic Kaminari. Okay, I didn't know Midoriya's giant robot would fight all for one gyro. I never expected Midoriya to be so talented with machines, thinking, I don't know where I get that from, but still that's new from Midoriya, so. I feel very lucky to find the boy from my dreams, he thought with a blush on his cheeks. Momo, I think the same as you, Jiro, thinking. And he also asked me how is it that Midoriya would become more handsome than before. Now I see how it is that my heart has chosen the right person, he thought with a blush on his cheeks. Tsuyu, just like you too, Karo, thinking. Maybe when I'm done I can tell him how I feel about him. Achiko stopped being my friend when I left him for someone else, maybe. I'll have the perfect opportunity to tell him how I feel about him, he thought lastly with a blush on his cheeks. Uraraka, however, if this battle comes to an end, let's hope to be able to talk peacefully with Dekukuin and at the same time apologize to him. Mina, that includes us, for everything we did to him, for not believing Todoroki. Serious? Wait a minute, and who said that Midoriya is going to apologize to you? If you don't remember, you were the ignorant ones after Tadashi framed you for something you didn't do. Do you forget? Mineta, we all know Todoroki, but we want to fix things with our friend, even if it's just once. Todoroki, and do you think Midoriya is going to listen to all the hypocrisies you say? What poor fools you all are. With your typical neutral look, mixed with seriousness and annoyance, everyone knew that the bicolor was right. Even if they tried to fix things with the green-haired boy, they knew that with stupid words and pretending that nothing happened, this is reason enough for Izuku to never forgive them after the damage they did to him. While suddenly they are interrupted by an explosion from the west, and the traitors notice the other battle that was taking place on the other side. Stain, Lady Nagant vs. Heroes, the duo of assassins fought tirelessly against all the heroes. The same ones mentioned thought that Stain and Nagant, being two in the many, would have a very easy victory. However, it was not like that, since it was possible to see how several heroes began to be killed one by one. Some were shot in the head by the bullets of the purple-haired woman and all were decapitated, due to Stain who decapitated them. With their blades and weapons hand in hand, how can they fight so many heroes at once? Well, it turns out that they also had those abilities that surpassed the speed of a normal human, but what they used was not a quirk, but something else. But let's better go see what they do. The same hero Assassin Stain is seen fighting against 10 heroes at a time who were using their strongest quirks to try to subdue the hitman. However, he began to make his move when he makes this move Stain. Kamisori, he moved at lightning speed, passing through the 10 heroes who could not see his movement, other than they only saw Stain pass through the middle of them until he stopped behind them, where Stain was standing there with a gloomy look. while holding his huge blade that was covered in a red essence, and suddenly all the bodies of the 10 heroes ended up being decapitated, as if they were pieces of paper. You can see their intestines and organs scattered everywhere along with a large pool of blood stain. 10 fake heroes, eliminated, serious, when he suddenly blocked a strong fire punch with his blade, courtesy of the fire hero, Endeavor. The aforementioned was not going to allow him to do whatever he wanted and kill everyone for pleasure. Endeavor, I'm going to stop you here and now, hero killer Stain. He exclaimed angrily, Stain, it was time for you to appear as a fraud, because I had told you that no matter how hard you try to do good, inside your heart hides that disgusting side and you will always have that disgusting side just like the other heroes. Endeavor, shut down. I will finish you. Angry, thus both begin to fight very hard, while the other heroes go to Endeavor's aid to stop Stain once and for all. Meanwhile with Lady Nagant, they were fighting against pro-heroes like Yi Lady, Death Arms, Kamui Woods, who do everything they can to stop her. Empty Lady, being in a large size, tries to catch Lady Nagant, who was apparently walking in the air, since she was using the moonwalk, or better known as Jeppo, thanks to which she now easily evades Empty Lady's attempts. Trying to catch her, when she dodged another grab from the heroine, Nagant used his rifle, saw the exact point where to aim and shoot, where Empty Lady received a sharp pain in her right eye, since the murderer had hit her in that area. Empty Lady, scream of pain while clutching his eye. Death Arms fires his weapons at the heroine, who simply dodges them using her abilities. Lady Nagant, question he moved quickly in the air, until he appeared in front of the hero of the weapons, preparing his index finger. Lady Nagant, Shurgond he stuck his finger in the center of her head, and not even his helmet could protect him, since the murderous woman's finger looked like a high-caliber bullet that was capable of passing through everything, even something metallic, Lady's finger. Nagant managed to go through the helmet until he reached the skull of the hero of the weapons. When he removed his finger, Death Arms fell to the ground on his back, and then the assassin pointed her rifle at him. Lady Nagant, cold. He shoots him so many times throughout his body and head, filling him with holes in everything and blood coming out of his body, until the hero of the weapon stops moving, implying that he had died. Kamui Woods tries to catch the murderer with his branches, but Lady Nagant moves fast using her speed, and then Kamui Woods, sulfur. What happened was that Kamui Woods was pierced in his chest from behind with the purple-haired assassin's own rifle, which crossed him from his back to the tip of reaching the other side. Despite the fact that his body was made of wood, he could feel firsthand how the murderer crossed him without any mercy, without knowing what would happen next. Then before killing him she spoke in his ear. Lady Nagant, whisper in her ear, "You were a disgrace as a hero," you yelled at an innocent boy when he was supposed to be trying to save his friend from a villain, and you scolded him when he was just trying to help. You don't deserve to be called hero. Cold and dry voice, Kamui Woods, W8. Why you should know what? Tits the inter boy. He did not finish speaking as Lady Nagant kicked him and decapitated him. The only thing the hero saw for the last time was the assassin's leg heading towards his face. His vision went black, and he simply saw her head fall to the side, and the body just fell to the ground as well. Lady Nagant had decapitated Kamui Woods with a single kick, leaving him headless. Lady Nagant, what got in the way of professionals? That's what you were going to say, but unfortunately, that was the last thing you said, Twigs. And suddenly he dodged a stomp from the heroine of Lady, since the latter had seen from above how Lady Nagant killed 2 of her friends. Lady Nagant, I see you like the show I gave, right? Empty Lady, furious, Din, I'm going to crush you. I launch another stomp with the intention of finishing off the purple-haired girl, who was simply dodging with a few jumps with a neutral look. Then she decides to end this. She says the word Jeppo and then she says this. Lady Nagant, serious. Ranyaku, he creates a kick with a cutting wind in the shape of an eagle. Then the camera focuses on the shadow of Empty Lady on the ground, to then see a part of her being split in 2 with her head as blood splashes on the ground where his shadow was, to then see how my lady's giant body falls in slow motion until she collapsed completely while her head began to spurt out an immense amount of blood as if it were a fountain but expelling red liquid, as the scene of her death was at the top of his Head was sliced off more than you could see his brain, and brains that were scattered there where MT Lady was dead. A true carnage on the part of Lady Nagant, but she didn't care. She's seen worse scenes than this. As for her, she falls like a feather seeing the heroes she has killed. However, there were still more heroes to extinguish, when suddenly the other heroes that remained looked in shock as one of their own had died without any mercy for the murderer. With purple hair, when he was last he looked at them with penetrating eyes that would scare anyone. Lady Nagant. And now? Which of you will be the next to die? Somber look. The heroes were scared when they saw the murderer's look, but they maintained their composure as best they could, and then they attacked her with the intention of stopping her, without knowing that this would be the worst mistake of their lives. With Stain he was having a one-on-one fight against Endeavor, since the other heroes who were trying to help him were now on the ground completely decapitated and lifeless, because Stain chose the idea of finishing them off quickly, since they would be a nuisance, apart from the fact that he would not waste his time among such insignificant beings, since his priority was to eliminate Endeavor once and for all, to end this farce. Endeavor was trying to hit the hero killer with his flames, but Stain is seen dodging his attacks very easily, because it was another of his abilities, thanks to the research of the green-haired doctor, since Stain can be seen dodging every blow, each attack of fire, as if his body was made of paper. Stain. What's wrong? Doesn't the great hero Endeavor manage to land a single blow on me? That shows what kind of imposter and bad attempt at a fake hero you are. Mocking. Endeavor, shut up. Furious, then he created a large flare of fire and shot at the hero killer, who easily evaded him using fast pace, whatever you want to call him. After that, he appears in front of Endeavor to stab him with one of his knives. However, the fire hero increases his flames, causing Stain in the air to jump back to avoid being burned by that fire. Endeavor, surrender. Hero killer, you can't beat me. Keep in mind that I am made of fire and you can't touch me with anything. Stain, I can't touch you. And who said I can't touch you? If you know well that I need the necessary time to get close to you, the moment you use your flames to attack, I will only see the exact point where you have an opening, pointing it with its blade, where there, I will give you a blow from me and end of the game. Endeavor, bullshit, you know you can't beat me, but you're going to pay for everything you've done. Villain, annoyed. Stain, try it, because you don't know how much I want to kill you. Eudaemon fake, smiles wildly, stay aside. Endeavor. Suddenly the hero killer senses another danger approaching him, which was All Might, who throws a punch, which Stain managed to dodge using his fast pace, making the blonde miss his blow rather than just hit the ground, leaving a crater accompanied by a large wind curtain. Endeavor, what are you doing here? All Might. You know this is my fight, get out. Annoying. All Might. Serious, you know that you won't be able to defeat him. You saw how Stain ended the lives of the others, and you will be next if we don't finish him together, so I will help you in the battle. Endeavor, I said it's my fight, I don't need your help. Serious, Stain. But look who we have here, that man who considered him a true hero and inspired me to become one. In the end he turned out to be a demon fake like everyone else, all for not defending a poor boy for a crime he didn't commit. Serious, All Might. Stain, I know that you know young Midoriya and have made an alliance with him, but today I come to break it, since I come to stop you at any cost. Serious, Stain. Ha ha ha, that's typical of these fake heroes, but you've disappointed me. All Might. I thought you would never be like these fakes, but I was wrong, you are just like them. Now you will receive a punishment for your incompetence. All Might. Well, let's find out then. The blonde launched himself at great speed against the hero killer, ready to hit him, when at that suddenly All Might receives a kick on his right cheek, so hard that it sends him flying somewhere else, and we see how he crashes into a shattered house when it falls on top of him. Endeavor. All Might's shocked. Stain, I see you've been late, right girl? Well, I had to help my friends take care of those villains, who didn't even last long. The person responsible for attacking All Might was none other than Melissa, who appeared out of nowhere, ready to settle accounts with her own uncle. Melissa, take care of that llama man, I have business to attend to with my Uncle Might. He said it in quotes last. Stain, don't give me orders, girl, you know I work alone. Serious? All Might was simply getting up from the rubble of said house that he crashed into, and then when he gets back up, the first thing he sees is Melissa standing face to face with him, looking at him seriously. Melissa, Era, I see that you haven't changed at all. You still have that mentality that Stain is the villain, when you are supposed to be serious, All Might, and Melissa. But why did you attack me? In disbelief, Melissa, are you stupid or what? I still don't forgive you for what you did to my Isuku. Both you and others should feel ashamed. If my father were alive, he would be very disappointed that his former partner betrayed an innocent boy who had nothing to do with what happened to him. Serious and cold, All Might, Ellison. I know that why you're upset with me because of young Midoriya, but if you give me the chance, maybe I can. Pua gggggggt. The muscular blonde fell silent, with an of pain at the end. Since Melissa used the same repetitive words of All Might, she silenced him by giving him a strong punch across his stomach, and it was right on the wound that AFO made. All Might retreats with pain in his stomach, since he didn't even expect when Melissa attacked him. All Might, Melissa. I speak with difficulty, Melissa? Serious and cold? You wouldn't understand. So he disappears from All Might's sight and then receives another strong blow to his jaw. All Might is in the air because of the blow he received, so Melissa approached him at high speed to hit him twice in the face, followed by using Jeppo to be behind his back, takes his two muscular arms, and applies a double stab, which causes All Might to suffer back pain, and then receives a strong hammer blow that sends him to the ground. Melissa lands like a feather while looking at the crater. Seriously, All Might got up from the ground as best he could, yet he didn't understand how Melissa was so strong. She was supposed to be diagnosed as quirkless, and yet, she gave him some good blows that managed to do some damage. Melissa, surprised with my Uncle Might's techniques. Mocking, All Might, Chow. Is it? What is? That's so. FF strong T. Sore, Melissa, I'm glad you answered. It turns out that I am strong thanks to my new friends, but above all, to my cute Izuku-kun, who, thanks to his intellect, researches various computer data on combat techniques that are useful for people who don't they need no quirk to be better at something, but don't even think that that was all my strength. Serious? Then Melissa moves quickly, then kicks him hard in the stomach, causing All Might to spit out BLD, and he just collapses. There, clutching the area where he was hit. Melissa, look of contempt, stand up, symbol of peace if that's what I'll continue to call you, because I'm going to take charge of making you suffer until you ask me for mercy for everything you did, All Mights. Suddenly Melissa blocks a moon kick with her arm courtesy of the rabbit heroine Mirko, who had come to the blonde hero's rescue. Melissa, look who arrived, another piece of trash that deserves to be eliminated. Serious? Mirko, I don't know what the hell happened to you to make you attack your own uncle, but I won't allow you to continue hurting him. Very serious, All Might. Mirko, low voice, Melissa, phew, believe it or not, I'm already doing it, but I see that you're getting in my way and I'd better let the girls take care of you. When he says that, several knives are directed towards Mirko, who jumped away from Melissa. Mirko saw that the person responsible for throwing the knives was Toga, and she did not come alone as Cammy accompanied her, and both were seen with BLD stains, implying that they ended up with the other heroes that had to end Toga. Era, apparently I see new fresh meat, sadistic look. Cammy, yes, and apparently we found a very tasty bunny, hee, sadistic look. Mirko, Dimon, now I'll have to deal with two crazy women, but they'll pay for what they did to my friends. Toga, come closer, bunny. The truth is, I already wanted a roast bunny and I'm going to enjoy it, putting his Yandra look on his face. Melissa, I'll leave that rabbit to you girls. I still have debts to settle with this Johnny Bravo who is there. Cammy, very well, and whatever you do, don't kill him, just try to break some bones, like his own pride, for our Izuku. Toga. For Izuku, I want to taste his BLD when you destroy him as soon as we take care of the giant rabbit. To which Mirko launched himself to attack both girls, while they placed themselves in a combat position, ready to fight. Even so, the real fight for the green-haired man's revenge will continue when we see what is happening elsewhere. With the factions Issei's ex-lovers, after practicing and training the powers of their Akuma no Mi, little by little, were dominating them, which makes them feel unstoppable, thanks to which they can now have extraordinary strength that they can even try to match against Mephiles' own dark power inherited from Mephiles. However, even with the level they had was not enough. They just wanted to get stronger to achieve their goal of recovering the only man they love, if that means doing it by force. While the leaders only observed the girls training their new powers more and saw that little by little, they were progressing very well. Serzex, I see that you have already progressed quite well, Michael. True, but still, it is not enough since the level that both Issei-kun and Yokai Mephiles had is even greater than ours. Even if we were all together, we would have no chance of winning. Azazel, that's right, that's why I leave the rest to the girls, to improve their skills, since they are the only people who will defeat Issei and the others so that they return to being our pillar of the alliance. More than anything, having some information about that dark power he has. Serious, Ajuka. If we had that power, we would be the most powerful faction. Now I understand why Yasaka banished Mephiles from her territory, because his powers were greater than could be equipped with the level of an ordinary Mao or even the strongest ones. Serious, Serzex. But don't worry, my sister and the rest will be assured of victory, once they manage to specify the next move they will make. Confident, Azazel, I don't know, but we have little chance of winning. However, it depends on Rias and the others when they achieve it. While in the field where Rias and the others were training, it is seen how they mastered the powers of the Akuma no Mi more and more, to the point of being able to fight without the need to use their own powers to want to have what they want. However, they are not stupid to reveal the Akuma no Mi to Issei and the others. They would only give him an unexpected surprise when they manage to have him back there. You can see each of the girls using every part of their powers, plus showing their techniques. For example, these are what you will see below Rias. Gear second. The redhead expelled steam from her body while her skin turned a reddish tone like her red hair. Rias. Gomu Gomu no jet pistol. He fired his fist at high speed, managing to shatter a rock, because Rias's fist was as fast as a jet. Akino, Heiken. The black-haired woman was not far behind, and a fist of her fire, covered in yellow rays, hit another rock, shattering it. The other girls with Akuma no Mi are not far behind and show their powers. Some launched attacks such as light, electricity, ice, etc. Even so, it remains a mystery what powers the others have, since it is still too early to reveal them. It will be when the time is right where they reveal which Akuma no Mi each one has. After practicing, they all rest, since they would continue later. Even so, they had already progressed. If they continued like this, at this pace they will be able to come back stronger and stronger. Irina. That was great. Just look at how we improved these new powers. Zenobia. Sensei was right, the powers of these Akuma no Mi are very useful. If we continue training more and more, we will be stronger then. Issei, and in this way we will defeat him. Revel. True, once we defeat Issei-sama, he will return to us and we will be a very united family. Rias. Remember that we will not be able to reveal our new powers yet. Not yet, it will be at the moment when we give Issei the big surprise of his life. Keep in mind that it is still too early to face it, because although we have these new powers, we would be easily defeated and then all our efforts would be in vain. Serious, Akino. Rias is right, it is still too early to go after Issei-kun and try to confront him. The first thing we must do is have the Black Onyx Emerald, to free Iblis from that confinement and thus help us with our cause. Asia. But still remember that we also come to look for some allies to join our cause. Rias. You're right, Asia. First we must find the right people to join our cause and thus recover our future husband from that Issei Serafall and the others. Kaneko, but we must plan a strategy, not simply enter Issei-senpai's secret base by force. The first thing we must do is get rid of those obstacles to have the Black Onyx Emerald that is kept there inside Rias. Don't worry, Kaneko, we're going to have the help of the others, since the first thing we have to do is get Issei and the others away from that gem. If Serafall and the girls are there, we'll just get rid of those obstacles from above and thus have the emerald to free Mephiles. Kuroka. Naya. I like the sound of it. I can't wait to have Issei Naya back and at the same time have many kittens. Flirtatious smile. Akino. Also, I hope to have him back to touch my BRSS as much as he likes. Hehehe. Funny smile while moving his attributes a little. Rias. Well, from what I heard from Yasaka, that she along with Iblis were going to see something special, which will help us get Issei back if it means sacrificing some lives. That's what I heard from her. Penemu. I don't know what it could be, but it doesn't matter. The important thing is to have Issei back with us whether he wants it or not. Rias. That's right. Well girls, let's continue with the training. After that, We will start looking for our allies. The girls nod and then go back to the field to continue training their powers more and, at the same time, look for their allies to help them fulfill their cause of recovering Issei if that would mean sacrificing several lives. Rias, thinking, don't worry, my pretty Issei, once you return to us, you will see that we will give you the happiness that you deserved so much and not like that JRK who deceived us. You will see that we will make you ours if that means doing it at the same time. Strength, Mizudafu, Japan. The battle in the city of Mizudafu continues, as we now see the heroes fighting against an assassin, who of course they call villain Lady Nagant, when in reality they aim to end the lives of all the heroes, because as the hero killer said, this society was very rotten and that is why this duo would be in charge of purifying it at any cost, while the other badniks created by the green-haired man were in charge of all the villains that still existed, since Isuku knew that both false heroes and villains did not deserve to exist and that they had to be eliminated at any cost. We see at this moment Nagant herself using her weapons from her arms, and she shot 2 heroes directly at their skulls, leaving a hole until they fell dead. 2 other heroes used their quirks. The first was a metal power generating several spikes of metal and the other made of glass as she begins to throw several cutting crystals in the direction of the assassin who is just standing there, but then the next thing comes. Nagant watches those attacks with spikes heading towards her and she has a very serious face. He only said this next word, Lady Nagant. Tekai. As he says this, the metal spikes and crystals impact his entire body. The 2 heroes smile knowing that they managed to hit the assassin, but their smiles disappear from their faces and change to a face full of shock and disbelief when they see how the metal spikes and crystals fell to the ground when they hit the purple-haired woman's body. The metal spikes were bent and others were crushed, and the crystals on the other hand were practically in pieces. At the same time you can see how Nagant was standing there and you can see how her body was intact from those attacks. It was as if her body was made of steel, and this clearly impacted both heroes a lot. Hero 1, shocked. Impossible. Hero 2, shocked. And our attacks didn't do anything to him. It's like his body is made of steel, but it's not supposed to be a steel quirk. What did he do to withstand those attacks as if nothing had happened? But at that moment they both felt a sharp pain in their chest. That was because Nagant had fired his assault rifles from his elbows, until both heroes fell practically lifeless as they had holes in their chests where red essence came out. That everyone you already know. Then Nagant sees more heroes who launch to attack the assassin. However, the purple-haired girl has other plans, so she put her weapons away from her elbows and simply raised her right leg ready to make her next move, which was this. Lady Nagant, Renkyaku, Kaicho. He shoots a cutting air from his leg in the shape of a giant bird, so big that the heroes, upon seeing that attack, some tried to dodge and do so successfully, but the rest did not have much luck as other of the heroes are hit by that attack, and the only thing that is seen of them is how the upper part of their torso falls to the ground, while more of that red liquid fell in spurts, since apparently that attack was so dangerous that it even managed to split them in 2. Half of the heroes there were. The other heroes who had survived the attack were still in shock at the scene they had seen. Apparently if they had not dodged that attack, they would not live to tell about it. However, it would not last long, since the purple-haired assassin still looked at them coldly and still with the longing to kill. Lady Nagant, now who are the next to die? Answers very seriously combined with coldness. But for now we will leave this expert assassin to do her part with the heroes, even Izuku's robots who continued to finish off the villains one by one. And it would be better to move on to the most important battles, to see that the green-haired man's revenge is fulfilled. With Izuku, this is found inside his mecha robot, the egg beater, fighting face-to-face with the most dangerous villain in Japan. He was fighting against All for One, who was seen using their combined quirks, and then transformed into a gigantic arm. Pink, with many metallic materials thanks to all the quirks he has in his possession. All for One. Admire the power of all the quirks I have. Izuku Midoriya. This will be more than enough to finish you. The villain shouts at the top of his lungs. Izuku, with a bored face. Blah, blah, blah. You're boring me to death. If you're done bragging, it's time to continue with the fight. All for One. I'll make you swallow those words when I finish off a simple Quirkles like you. Izuku. Maybe it's a Quirkles, but something that they don't have. Beings with quirks is the brain, pointing at his head. All for One. Well, let's see if that brain of yours can go against my power. AFO, without wasting time, launches a powerful punch with his huge forearm. Izuku's mecha corresponds and both strongly collide their fists, creating a large curtain of wind that destroys every part of the ground, and both leave a hole in the ground when they impact their respective attacks. The mecha launches a kick that AFO blocks with his arm and corresponds with a huge blizzard of air expelled from his other arm that pushes Izuku's mecha back about 3 meters. But the mecha does not give in and begins to fire a submachine gun in his arms. AFO uses his forearm to block the shots. The mecha, not satisfied with that, uses his wrecking ball to try to hit the villain. AFO catches the sphere with his enormous forearm, and then pulls hard, and Izuku's mecha heads towards the villain to receive a powerful blow to the chest, which the egg beater managed to protect with the shield of his arm, then raised his hand to fire an energy repulsor ray, which AFO corresponds with its great blizzard, and both masses collide until creating an explosion that destroys more already deteriorated houses and buildings. Then AFO approached at high speed and tries to hit the robot again. The egg beater uses its shield again, avoiding the blow, and then repels the attack, at the same time that the mecha pushes AFO with force that takes him a few meters back. So Izuku fires more repulsor rays, but now through his wrists. AFO dodges with a jump, but again falls into the same trap, since the mecha swings his demolition sphere and manages to hit AFO in the entire jaw, so hard that he manages to destroy his mask until he knocks him to the ground. Izuku? Ho ho ho, what's wrong, symbol of evil? Have you already reached your limit? Answers in a mocking tone, all for one, furious, limit. Limit. AFO stood up furious, ignoring the blow he received, and proceeded to attack using his black material attack with red stripes towards Izuku's mecha robot, who only smiled and proceeded to destroy each one using his shield, destroying each material one by one, and then it was his turn to attack Izuku, missiles outs. So Izuku presses another button and the egg beater launches more missiles from his shoulders, which are directed at the villain. AFO quickly uses his quirk and proceeds to destroy them with his dark and red material, and they all explode, but he did not realize that when the smoke was created by the explosion, inside it was Izuku, who inside his robot looked at through the holographic screen of your robot and you see a target shooting pointer. Izuku? Hee. You won't know what awaits you next, and suddenly the chest of the mecha robot opens, showing a huge cannon that began to charge an amount of blue energy. Then go AFO to the exact point and shout Izuku, Fuego. And then he shoots a plasma beam of blue energy through the smoke, where AFO notices a blue flash heading towards him. So he managed to react in time and defended himself with his huge forearm, trying to withstand that beam at the same time as it. He is dragged back by the immense amount of energy from that beam that forces him to push him back. All for one, resistiendo, Izuku. Let's see how much you can resist. I'll double the lightning energy. Saying that, the power of the plasma beam increased, seeing how that beam became bigger and the power of the shot increased, with which AFO was pushed further back, and he tried to resist as much as he could, but unfortunately the power of that beam was so great that it managed to destroy the villain's defense, and then AFO begins to be consumed by the attack. All for one, Receive el Atake. Take the attack squarely as the plasma attack continues until it explodes against a building, drawing the attention of others. With the traitors, all of Izuku's former teammates watched in surprise as he was beating the very symbol of evil using his robot. Mineta, I impressive. Midoriya is humiliating that villain. Answers surprised and shocked. Mina, I can't believe what I see. Surprised. Uraraka, Dekukuin, the brunette answered surprised. Kaminari, wow, Midoriya is impressive, and above all, that robot he's riding on with Omega. The latter was fighting against the League of Villains, and obviously had no difficulty defeating each of them. Spinnert tried to impale him with his swords, but it was of no use since Omega, being a robot made of hard steel, broke in half. So Omega wastes no time and sends Spinner flying with a punch against a building. Mr. Compress tries to touch him to turn him into a marble, but he easily grabs both of his hands, and then kneed him in his stomach, leaving him gasping for air, and then kicking him in the jaw, sending him flying through the air until he falls to the ground abruptly. Shigaraki was about to attack Omega, But suddenly he saw from afar the explosion that was generated where AFO was supposed to be with Isuku, and this clearly worried him about what happened to his teacher. "Shigaraki, sensei," the villain exclaimed, and when he moved in that direction to go help his teacher, some machine gun shots blocked his way. It was Omega who had attacked with his machine gun. "Omega, no member of the League of Villains will go with my creator. My duty is to destroy them all, Shigaraki. A piece of junk like you has no one to tell us what to do." I answer, all annoyed to attack Omega.